Hello and welcome back to the Football Social for what promises to be an absolute corker of a match between Paris Saint Germain and Manchester City. Joining me tonight on the stream, we've got Dougie Critchley, we've got Christopher Hamill. Doogster, how are you feeling about this one?
Oh, I'm buzzing, Joe. I'm absolutely buzzing. I thought last night set it up nicely. Probably the two more defensive-minded teams left in this competition. But tonight, Mbappe, Neymar, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Mahrez, the talent on show is just quite frankly a joke. I think it should be, one of the best games we've seen this year. And I frankly cannot wait.
Oh, I'm so buzzing. Hamster, how are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I'm absolutely ecstatic to be here, mate. Tell you what, the first half last night was bloody good. I'm listening to Dougie now as I speak, such is the delay on the stream, so I'm going to turn that off right now. The first half last night, very, very good. Really whet my appetite. Second half was a bit of a bummer, wasn't it? But if Manchester City play anything like they did in the first 45 against Tottenham in the EFL Cup final, then we're in for a absolute whopper.
Yeah, I can't wait. By the way, I've got a little lasagna here, look. Absolute cork, a little homemade lasagna here. So I will be eating that during the stream. So I will mute myself so you don't have to hear the sounds of me chomping. So I will be reliant for at least the first 15 to 20 minutes on Dougie and Hamster carrying the stream. Start sending your questions in the chat right now for us, though. We'll be answering as many as we can. We had loads sent in on Discord in the build-up to this one. This one from Colm on Discord. Obviously, they just showed this actually on the BT stream, talking about Keylor Navas. But is he the best keeper in the world right now? Dougie, over to you. I'm having a bite of my lasagna.
That's a great question. It's a difficult one to answer, to be totally honest. I don't think any Premier League keeper has necessarily shone too much. I think Thibaut Courtois has had a very good season again, but he's not necessarily even the outstanding guy this year. Mike Maignan at Lille, who's interesting, AC Milan at the moment. I think he's got just as good a save percentage. He's kept 4 more clean sheets. Obviously, that's not solely down to the keeper. It's part of a structure, part of a defensive organisation, and Lille have been magnificent that way. So Keylor Navas is definitely in with the shout, but Mike Maignan has really excelled and got Lille into title contention because they're currently 1 point ahead of PSG, which is quite a talking point ahead of tonight's game.
100%. Like some of the saves he's produced in the Champions League, though, Keylor Navas this season have been nothing short of remarkable. As we've just put in the chat, by the way, come over to Discord as well. Start sending your questions in on there because it's a lot easier to read. Because during the game, we are going to get an awful lot in this chat box. So start sending your predictions to kick us off with. Christopher, how do you see this one going? Because this is going to be a tight game.
Oh, it's a good question. And despite, expecting the stream all day, I've not really thought about it. I was actually just reading about Dundee United's academy about 35 minutes before we went live. Really, really, good prep from me. But yeah, hopefully, I know you're hoping for a PSG result. I'm hoping that Neymar shows up. And I'm hoping, that it's competitive right into the final whistle. I would like Manchester City to get a score draw here. And I do like, KDB in that false 9. I like Foden being in those advanced positions. I think he's going to have a lot of joy against the fullbacks of PSG. And Riyad Mahrez, man of the match in the EFL Cup final, up against Baka on the left-hand side. Unless him and Foden switch, which happens pretty judiciously, doesn't it, throughout the whole 90. So I think, City's wide men, City's front men, they might run riot, because defensive frailties. Marquinhos is going to have to put in a shift, Joseph.
Yeah, I have to say, having watched that Bayern Munich first leg back briefly today against PSG, they brutalised that PSG backline and midfield for quite extended periods of the game and created, I think, over 30 chances in the match. Now, the one thing I will say about Man City is they do have a tremendous ability to miss huge chances. I don't know whether it's because they don't have an out-and-out striker or whether they're just not clinical enough, but even in the cup final against Tottenham, they had some huge chances they didn't take, and we've seen it in the Champions League throughout the season, so that might be a pivotal factor. Dougie, got another question here for you from Duransley on Discord. He says, What did he say? He says, do any of you rate John Stones defensively? After watching him for 8 years, I don't. Well, I do. Dougie, what do you think?
After watching, what did he watch and he doesn't now rate him?
8 years. He was watching him at Barnsley, apparently. You're a liar. You're a liar.
8 years. I think John Stones had a great season. Yeah, there's been a couple of mistakes recently, not least in that England game. But, he's improved so much. And I think the system around him has allowed him to just excel as well. They're not so exposed on the counter-attack this year, although we did see, glimpses with Lucas Moura in the Carabao Cup final. But they, tactical fouls, etc. They brought him down in the end. But it feels like Walker on that right-hand side really tucks in, and they've got a very solid base to work off there. And John Stones has really profited off Ruben Dias being so consistently excellent this year. And yes, there was a couple of odd scares against Dortmund, but largely that game as they control most games. I mean, yes, Man City are beatable. They will occasionally lose games, not least against Leeds United recently. But it's very rare that you see them totally outplayed in a game, which gives them hope in any contest. I think the Chelsea defeat recently in the FA Cup semi-final was one of probably their weakest displays of the season. But other than that, I think they've been pretty imperious since about November time. And I'd expect them to cause PSG a hell of a lot of problems. But having said that, I'm actually going for a PSG win in this first leg. I think it's going to be 2-1. I've got a weird feeling about it. I think Man City will go through the tie, but will lose tonight. But my predictions are notoriously dreadful. So
Dougie's predictions always just pick the opposite of what he says. But do you know what? Having watched Manchester United versus Manchester City as well, I think that is a serious game plan PSG will look to replicate tonight. I think that was probably Man City's toughest game of the last 5 or 6 months. Manchester United at the Etihad when United beat them 2-0. Yes, they had big chances, Man City, but the vulnerability on the counter-attack against Marcus Rashford was quite frightening, and it's Mbappe and Neymar tonight, which is, I'm sure, what PSG and Pochettino will be looking to exploit. Hamster, do you think they're just going to play pure on the counter-attack, or is this just going to be the Neymar show?
My Sky Go app temporarily crashed there, so I wasn't ignoring all that chat, was just working on fixing the issue. Did you say, is this going to be the Neymar show tonight? Sorry, Joseph, tucking into your lasagna. Was that a nod? Yeah, I mean, he's been absolutely outstanding pitch, hasn't he, for PSG? I think, and I'll ratify this a little bit later, but let me come up with it a little bit later, how many dribbles he completed in the last 90. But I hope so. I mean, what is he, 28, 29 now? I know he signed that new deal. Mbappe's still stalling. Obviously, he is talismanic. Was at this stage of the competition last season. Only scored, but got some vital assists. Against Manchester City, the team's a little bit more robust than maybe, with Rodri in that midfield. Maybe they anticipated that. Gundogan and Bernardo Silva obviously got excellent work rate as well. I think Pep has probably legislated for that by playing those three midfielders potentially a little bit deeper. Maybe we won't see so many forward runs from Gundogan today, but I mean, Manchester City have got to have the ball. PSG have got to have the ball first, right? And Manchester City, they'll probably make PSG play a little bit more on the counter, which they're not going to be used to, at least from a domestic perspective. But Paredes, Gay, snapping into tackles, and Verratti's got very good distribution from deep, hasn't he? So yeah, I think he's. I mean, asking if Neymar is going to be a danger is water wet sort of thing.
Yeah, I think, do you know what, though? I think that could be, you just touched on it then, Paredes and Gay. I think that could be a big problem area for PSG tonight. I really do. I think in the battle of the midfields, Manchester City's could be totally dominant tonight. I'm really not convinced about that PSG midfield standing up against this Manchester City one. I thought at times in the first leg against Bayern, the likes of Goretzka and that had way too much room. And I think if you give KDB that sort of space, you could be in for a bit of a bloodbath. But, you know, with Mbappe on the counter-attack, they're just showing like his highlight reel from this Champions League season. I do think that John Stones could be vulnerable. Like, Kyle Walker's going to have to put in a real shift tonight, covering that right-hand side with his pace, because he is electric as well. But that is, I'm sure, an area Pochettino's look to work on, balls over the top into those sort of channels, because Man City are going to play a high line. They're not going to change the way they play totally just because it's PSG. I think that this is one of the more intriguing tactical battles we've seen so far in this Champions League season. We're getting loads more questions on Discord. Come over to our Discord, by the way. The link is at the top of the chat. This one here from BRX was taken says, if Tuchel gets into a Champions League final and wins the cup, the FA Cup that is, after managing for half a season, is he the manager of the year in Europe contender? Dukes?
I put it on Twitter the other day that I think he's in the reckoning for about third in England, as it currently stands, behind Guardiola and Moyes. And to be honest, I probably, if he wins the Champions League, he's in contention for manager of the year. But otherwise, even with an FA Cup, I think I'll be hard pressed not to give it to Guardiola in England, just because the level, the standard that Man City have set over the last 4 or 5 months. I genuinely think they've, not just played some of the best football we've seen in this country, but the most balanced football that the City have ever produced. I think they've just been so much better defensively than in previous years. Tuchel, I think, has done a phenomenal job. It was really interesting seeing him completely, dominate Zinedine Zidane tactically last night. I thought Zidane made a massive mistake trying to go man for man in that first half, particularly with Nacho and Marcelo on that left-hand side. Mount and Werner and Pulisic just find so much space in behind that midfield. And yes, Real Madrid have had a lot of injury issues recently, but I was really worried by that Real Madrid display, to be honest. I felt like after that El Clasico win of a couple of weeks ago, maybe they were peaking at just the right time, but that was a very tired performance against Chelsea last night. And Chelsea, while they'll be frustrated not to get another goal, are strong favourites to go through in that tie now.
Yeah, just picking up on that Chelsea game last night, like, why Zidane went 3 at the back to match them up, I just didn't understand from the get-go. I thought Marcelo looked all over the place. Didn't know where he was playing at times. Marcelo was like finding himself in centre mid at moments. Carvajal felt exposed. I didn't like at all how the back three, like the 3 centre-backs were playing. The line was all over the place. And like you said, it just didn't suit how they wanted to play football. My one worry for Chelsea would be is they didn't kill the tie. They had chances in there to score 2 or 3 away goals and really put the tie to bed. And there's something about Madrid, isn't there? Even when they're not playing well, the experience of the likes of Benzema, Modric, Kroos pulls them through. If Ramos is back for the second leg, there's rumours he might be fit. Furlong Mendy's probably going to be back and available. I don't think they can be any worse than they were last night, is what I would say, Madrid, in that second leg. So I would be... I don't know what you think, Hamster, but I think that tie is still very much alive.
Yeah, just to come in with that stat I was thinking about earlier, I was going to say Neymar completed 12 dribbles against Bayern in the last game, but he completed 6 and attempted 12. That was the stat I was ruminating over. But going back to last night's game, I think although it was a great result, like you've just mentioned, there will be a certain maybe sect of Chelsea supporters that are a little bit reticent going into the second leg because it was almost a free pass to roll them over last night because of how bad they were in the 45 minutes. So they should, off the back of that performance, be a little bit more confident about going through. But yeah, still firmly in the balance. I think Real Madrid, with Ramos back, will go to a back 4, won't they? And we'll maybe see a better representation of them because they were excellent against Liverpool, weren't they? It's a totally different performance in that first 45, although they kind of wrestled control from them 10-15 minutes after half-time. But then... And
Liverpool had some massive chances in that second leg. Salah butchered some huge chances.
Yeah, he did. It was open. But I think we started to see the hallmarks of an ageing side maybe in that second half as well, particularly with like Kroos and Modric playing so deep. Not a lot of legs in there. So Valverde might be an option as well, unless something's befallen him, Dukes. But I think ultimately Chelsea will be disappointed. It feels weird to say, but we'll be disappointed with a draw there. I think they probably should have been 1 or 2 goals clear.
Agreed. We've had another question on Discord here. This one from Silver. He says, if City win the Champions League, which of their players would be best positioned to win the Ballon d'Or, if anyone? Dukes, any sort of thoughts on that one?
I mean, a couple of months ago, there was a real movement for Ruben Dias being Player of the Year in England, which has slightly died down a bit. I think Foden's probably moved ahead of him, and I think De Bruyne has probably moved ahead of him in the Man City reckoning. And then there's, Kane and Bruno Fernandes, who definitely deserve a shout-out. Grealish would have probably been in that reckoning as well if he hadn't got injured. In terms of who's in line for the Ballon d'Or if City win the Champions League, to be honest, I can only ever see really De Bruyne. I don't think Foden has been one of the best three players in the world this year. I know he's had great performances, but I think it's a little too early for that sort of thing. And defenders are just never in consideration, unfortunately. I mean, it's since, is it 2006 with Cannavaro? No defenders won the Ballon d'Or. So I think probably KDB. But the great thing about this City team is it's a real team effort. Like, I feel like every member of their squad has contributed at various points this year. Even like Zinchenko had a great spell a couple of months ago, playing as a left wing back. João Cancelo's been awesome throughout as well. Mahrez definitely deserves a shout out as well. Rodri's got so much better. So it's been a real team effort. And Edison has just been a pretty much a lucky spectator to just watch it all firsthand.
I think Mbappe stands a fantastic chance of winning the Ballon d'Or this year. I think if PSG can get the job done in the Champions League, and even if he makes a Euro 2020 final, let's say he doesn't win it and he makes the finals and scores a couple goals, he's got every shot of being a top goal scorer in that tournament. I think he takes home the Ballon d'Or. I really do. I think if he wins the Champions League and goes deep in the Euros, I don't see where else it's going to go, because that is just two monumental feats at his age. What, 22?
Yeah, I think Messi's got a shout, to be fair, after his last 3-4 months as well.
I do, but if he doesn't win the Champions League and he doesn't win La Liga, he's not going to win. Not going to win the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, true. But I mean, they're in the driving seat for La Liga. If they win all their games, they'll be La Liga champions. Then he'll want to double. Probably have one of the most goal contributions in Europe, I think, behind Lewandowski as well. So, and Lewandowski as well would have been in for it as well, but they are only going to end up with the league, no cup, no Champions League now. So there's a few players, as you say, that Champions League performances in this round and the final are going to make all the difference.
Yeah, 100%. Hamster, what do you think about the Ballon d'Or? Think it could be an Mbappe year? Could it be a City year for KDB if they do win it?
I don't think KDB is going to win it, because you can't start 22 of 33 match weeks in the league, can you, and expect to win the biggest individual award on the continent. And yeah, Mbappe, if Lille win the league, then I think that's going to be hugely to his detriment. So it is a little bit of a weird one. The outstanding candidates like Lewandowski before he got injured, Dougie, as I think it's just touched upon him. I was in the chat talking about how I potentially smell or don't smell. Real high IQ chat going on. Just to your right, boys. So it might boil down to this competition, but Mbappe, like, domestically, what does he have? It's like 32 goal contributions in 25 starts. So if they don't win the league,
I don't think it matters if he doesn't win the league. I don't think it matters if they don't win the league and he wins the Champions League. I don't think anybody's going to care.
I think that would sway the voting maybe disproportionately, like, away from him. It'd be out of his favour if they're such a dominant domestic side and they don't win their league. Yeah, I can't see it.
Yeah, there's a few people in the chat saying maybe Benzema could be a contender for it. I think he would definitely need to win the Champions League and La Liga to even stand a shout. We've got another question here from Oliver on Discord. He says, what are your opinions on Pochettino? Has he improved PSG, Dougie?
It's difficult to say because their form domestically has been really iffy, but in the last couple of weeks they played really well. I was watching the highlights of their game against Metz at the weekend. They were superb. Mbappe actually went off with a little knock at the end of that, but I'm glad to see he's fully fit for here. They beat Angers the week before that, I think 5-0 in the Cup. And they're only 1 point behind Lille. So it's not all doomsday just yet. There's just been far too many defeats, really. I think they've lost 8 league games, which for PSG is absolutely mental. Lille, in contrast, I think have only lost 3. But their attack's been phenomenal. They just conceded a few too many goals, and they've had some really unfortunate injuries as well. I think a bit like Bayern Munich, they probably didn't do the strengthening last summer that Tuchel would have wanted at the time. I think it was only Danilo Pereira and Florenzi that came in on loan. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I'm missing out someone obvious as well. So they left themselves maybe a little bit short.
Icardi came on a permanent as well, didn't they?
Icardi came on a permanent, haven't been there on loan. Yeah, they maybe left them a little bit short for a 50-60 game season. But I think Pochettino, he's already beaten Barcelona. He's already beaten Bayern Munich. Yes, they got pretty fortunate in that first leg against Bayern, but I thought that second leg they were really good in that. And they lost 1-0, but it was pretty even. So he deserves a lot of respect for getting a team to Champions League semi-final, having come in what March.
Yeah.
April.
Yeah.
No, sorry, February.
About February. I think.
So I think he's done a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're about 3 minutes away from kickoff. So everybody in the chat, start letting us know your predictions. I'll read some of them out just before we go live. Dougie, you were predicting a PSG win. Can I get a score prediction, please, from you?
Yes, you can. Almost. This is a confirmation it won't finish as this, but I'm going 2-1 PSG.
2-1 PSG. Okay, who's scoring?
I'm going to go with an Mbappe. Maybe a Marquinhos header from a set piece, and then I think Phil Foden's going to grab a goal,
Oh, I think that wouldn't be a terrible result for Manchester City, it has to be said. I think I'm going to go for a 2-1 Man City win. And I think they will dominate the ball. Phil Foden will dominate this game. And rightfully take his sort of position alongside Mbappe and Haaland as one of the players that should be talked about as the best young player in the world, because I think he is at that level. Hamster, what are you saying?
Yeah, Guardiola's City have tended to travel quite well, haven't they? I think 11 victories in their last 16. So I don't think they're winning this game by a convincing margin is out of the question. I might be more ambitious than you, Tomlinson, and go 3-1 to Manchester City. 3-1
Man City. We're getting loads of people in the chat. We've got 3-all from Huma. We've got Che saying 2-0 Man City. I do think PSG will score a goal tonight. I'd be surprised if they didn't. Ashgar Masood says 2-1 PSG. Major Crib says Joe 2-0 Lasagna. Not quite got through it yet, so scores are currently level in that one. Kala says PSG 3-2. We're basically just hoping for a stunner here. And what always worries me is when we hope and think it could be a stunner, is that it ends up 0-0. So I think if we say now, this will definitely end 0-0, then we're definitely jinxing it enough to see lots of goals tonight. Dexter says 3-1 Man City, agrees with Hamster. Dibia says 3-1 PSG. Loads of score predictions coming. Get some questions going. I've got another one here from the Discord. We're about a minute away from kickoff. And quite a lot of people in the Discord saying, as Brock has here, Mbappe or Foden? Who'd you go for, Dukes, to score tonight?
I think on current form in the Champions League, you've got to go Mbappe. I mean, he's just been absolutely phenomenal for since 2016-17, and he's actually destroyed Man City before playing for Monaco as well, which is quite interesting. It's a little reunion of that game. So yeah, you can't really look past Mbappe playing at home, playing centrally over Foden, first semi-final at this stage. He's got a hell of a lot of experience under his belt, but not quite at the level of Mbappe just yet for me. So I'm going Mbappe to score over Foden in this one, but looking forward to seeing Foden play as well.
Yeah, I do want to have the chat about Foden tonight, because I've been saying, and I've been trying to get this bit of conversation going, that I believe Foden should be talked about in the same category of young talents as Mbappe and Haaland. And I've been getting some pelters for it. I'm not going to lie, I've been getting some pelters for it, but I think just because he's playing in a different position, he's never going to put up the numbers Mbappe and Haaland do in terms of goal scoring, maybe even goal contributions.
Because he's not a specialist.
Exactly, but he talent-wise, like actual football talent, I think he's level with them. Yeah,
I mean, I think his IQ across the board, in terms of his tactical flexibility, it's pretty unrivaled for a player of his age. Yes, Haaland is scary in the box. Mbappe can play anywhere along that front line and do and be world class. But I think Phil Foden can anywhere in that front six for Manchester City, really, and that shouldn't be underestimated. Just how much match intelligence it takes to do that in a Guardiola system, where there is so many intricacies, where you can't be in this box of space if one of your teammates is. It's a challenging, demanding system. So, I mean, how many midfielders are there of his age that are doing it like he is? I mean, I'm thinking of Giovanni Reina at Dortmund. He's very young. Jude Bellingham, of course, plays a little bit deeper. Also tremendously young, but they're not quite in the same category yet. But there's not many not many Phil Fodens kicking around.
Yeah, and also I think his position is incredibly hard to master. That sort of 10/inverted winger that he's been playing this season. I just think that's a really difficult position to master, and to be doing it at 20 years old at this level. I think he's got 7 major honours already to his name. It's just frightening. And I think he's got genuine... If he stays injury-free, I think he's got a genuine shot of becoming one of England's most talented ever players. Here's a big chance for City, for PSG.
I don't really, except for Rooney, I can't remember anyone breaking onto the scene quite like this. Good chance for PSG. Easy save in the end for Ederson.
Yeah.
Neymar will be slightly disappointed with that. But yeah, except for Rooney, I can't remember anyone breaking onto the scene in such dramatic fashion. And I said it on the podcast this week with Pat. I'm not comparing him to this player. I'm not saying he'll ever get to this player, but there are elements of his game that remind me of Lionel Messi to watch. Like the way he manipulates the ball, his low center of gravity, how he's so comfortable in tight spaces. He's a pleasure to watch. I just don't think quite yet he's at Mbappe's level. But there's no reason to say that he couldn't be, in a couple of years. I mean, this is probably his first season of being an absolutely imperative part of Man City's winning machine. He's played a lot of games before. I think he's already over 100 for City. But yeah, this is his first season of being one of the top 2-3 players in this side, and Guardiola deserves all that credit for not rushing it either. When we were all calling it for Football Daily for years, and he's waited just the right time, and they're both enjoying the relationship.
Mehmet in the chat says Sancho or Foden. I just think I would say Phil Foden, and I really rate Jadon Sancho. This is good by Mara, isn't it?
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know why I went for... I was talking about Gio Reyna and Bellingham when quite clearly Jadon Sancho is the most talented. Like 20-something at that club.
I obviously, same age as Foden, incredibly talented as well. But again, a slightly different type of player, I would say. More of an out-and-out winger than Foden, who feels like can play about 8 positions, doesn't it? I feel like you could stick Foden centre mid and he'd do a job in there for you, being able to keep hold of the ball. Yeah, for sure. So I think it's an interesting conversation to have how far he is off it. I think he's, if not in those top 2 between Haaland and Mbappe, then he's comfortably 3rd now. I don't know what you two think.
For what, young players?
Best young player in the world, yeah. Oh, this is a good chance for PSG. They can find a lot of room in behind PSG, aren't they? Already.
Yeah, they are. It's been a good start, actually. Yeah, young players. He's got to be in the reckoning. Yeah, I think he probably is in the third or fourth or fifth. Ansu Fati had a great start to the year as well, prior to his injury in September. He's even younger than Foden. I'm trying to think of other players. Rodrigo's shown glimpses at Real Madrid. I think Pedri's been awesome for Barcelona. Actually deserves a shout in this conversation as well. Probably not quite the output of a Foden, but he's been starting for Barcelona during one of the great recoveries we've probably ever seen in European football for Barcelona. I think they've lost one of their last 17 league games. I think they've taken more points than anyone else in Europe in that time. So, Pedri deserves a massive shout out as well. But it's just a great time. I feel like players are breaking onto the scene younger and younger, and just looking ready to perform at this level. And we're going to have 15 years of Foden. Same with Haaland. It's just going to be awesome.
I do want to bring up one other name as well. I do want to bring up Mason Mount's name, because Mason Mount is a phenomenon. People sleep on Mason Mount's actual footballing ability. Yesterday against Madrid, he was fantastic. Every time I watch Mason Mount, he's pretty much the best player on the pitch. He's got better and better throughout this season. And people were saying, weren't they, when Tuchel arrived, that'll be the end of Mason Mount, Frank Lampard's son. He's been Tuchel's best player. And I'm sure he's probably one of the first names on the team sheet under Tuchel. I think he's a little bit older, isn't he? He's 22. But nevertheless, I think he's one of the best young...
22 in January, though.
I think he's one of the best young players in the Premier League, not necessarily in Europe, but I think one of the best young players in the Premier League right now, and people need to put more respect on his name.
Yeah, but again, people won't, because his output's meteoric, right? I think he's got 10 goal contributions in 28 starts for Chelsea this term, and people don't really look at his underlying other metrics or other underlying numbers when they're putting together a tweet, do they? So yeah, I think Mason Mount reminds me of a Luka Modric in his prime, someone that can be deployed deep, can play 10, can play maybe a little bit wider, and it just has he looked so sharp last night. It just has such a tremendous he's a Swiss Army knife sort of player, isn't he? But
a lot of people in the chat are saying Grealish over Mount any day. I just don't agree.
Depends where.
I mean,
I feel like Grealish has played wing pretty much this entire year at Villa, and I think he's been great there. But I agree. I think Mason Mount's been outstanding, and for me, he has to start for England.
Definitely.
Whereas I'm not sure you have to start Grealish. There's plenty of other wing options: Foden, Rashford, Sterling. It wouldn't be a disaster. Whereas I think Mount is in that discussion of tens. Grealish can play there, Maddison, etc. He's clearly the best for me. And it's interesting you bring up Luka Modric. I thought he outplayed Luka Modric comfortably last night. He was pulling into his channel on the right hand side, and it was Kroos on the left, and Casemiro was kind of being deployed a bit further forward, which was a bit weird. It's something that Zidane's used quite often. But I thought Mason Mount was phenomenal again. I thought the whole Chelsea team were just so solid. N'Golo Kante as well, recovered from that dodgy sort of injury effect.
He was unreal last night, Kante.
He was so good. Winning man of the match again, just looks like an absolute bargain at £30 million, and still got a couple of more years left with him as well. I actually thought, credit Jorginho as well. He's someone who's got a lot of stick from English fans. I thought he was excellent last night as well. So, I mean, it's really pleasing for Tuchel and Chelsea, because I think they're slightly ahead of their development. Like, I don't think many people at the start of this season, obviously with Lampard in charge, would have expected them to reach the Champions League semi-final. But even when Tuchel took over, I don't think many people were saying, they've got an outside bet for the Champions League with the age profile of that squad. Because except for Azpilicueta and Thiago Silva, it's a really, really young team, and Jorginho.
I think they got that favourable draw, though, didn't they? That favourable draw definitely helped.
They did. Although Porto are no mugs.
No.
They deserve to go through against Juve, so they did get a good draw.
One of the things people gave Lampard credit for was putting together like a competent, pressing, energetic side, and I just feel like Tuchel's gone one further with that. And there was some really interesting, tactical tweaks or things that were evident in the early stages of that game. Like Azpilicueta was very often the most advanced man for Chelsea, wasn't he? They play this like weird 2-3-5 in the defensive transition as well as the attacking one sometimes, and that's why they're winning the ball so high up the pitch. Why Kroos and Modric were under so much pressure early on. Obviously they couldn't sustain it, and I think Tuchel made some really good substitutions after an hour, didn't he? Because yes, Timo Werner should have racked away a couple of opportunities. Actually, only one, and it was a half decent save from Courtois, wasn't it? There was times when like Kante and Pulisic were maybe guilty of not playing him in like quicker because that's what he likes. But yeah, they're just a really interesting side, and like Tuchel has shown that Lampard was effectively not. He was probably getting like 50-60% out of the talent that he had at his disposal, and he's kind of maximising it now, right?
Yeah. What do you think about? Like, obviously, there's lots of rumours going around about, obviously, Tammy. Matt Lord did an article today in the Telegraph saying that they're going to sell Tammy for £40 million this summer. That's unreal by Paredes in the midfield. They're going to sell him for £40 million this summer if they can get the right buyer. I think that's a weird move. I don't think Timo Werner is a brilliant goal scorer. Like, I think he offers a lot to the side, and I think he should definitely be a starter for Chelsea, but I don't think he's Chelsea's number 9 to win league titles, Timo Werner. If he was,
I don't know. I feel like
you would play him as an out-and-out 9 by himself up there.
What I don't want to do is like arrive at a conclusion about him after he's moved to a new country in a really difficult time, and his goal contributions are still pretty sound. Like, people are obviously making comparisons with failed Chelsea strikers of the past, but what Timo Werner's got at his he's not Fernando Torres. He's not like a broken toy. Physically, he's still very much there. It's just clearly mentally, this has been a tough adaptation for him, and like the negative press he's got has been sizable. And I feel he's dealt with it like amicably. But I think he's probably said that stuff about Werner and like split his time with Havertz maybe to try and take a little bit of pressure off of him.
I think they're going to go out and sign a striker. He should be aiming to be a mainstay
in that forward, somewhere in that.
I think Chelsea's number 1 priority this summer will be signing a striker.
Yeah, but the one I'd get rid of is definitely, and he is looking like he's going to leave, is Giroud.
Yeah,
and I agree with you. I'd keep.
I just don't see what's the Pep positive for selling Tammy.
No, I don't really get it either, unless there's been something behind the scenes and Tuchel's just like, you're not really going to get the game time at any point because you're not someone I particularly rate in our system, which might have gone on. I think Tammy Abraham's a really good player. I mean, his numbers in terms of, because he doesn't take penalties, but his goal scoring record, considering he doesn't take penalties, that's a great challenge from John Stones.
I think that was
Ruben Diaz even, sorry. That, his record's still phenomenal for Chelsea, considering his age and the fact he doesn't take penalties. So I wouldn't rule out Tammy just yet, but at the same time, if you can get £40 million for him, use that money and get, put, 70 million pounds towards, use that 40 to get Lukaku in for 70, because I don't think they're going to get Erling Haaland this year. Chelsea, I don't think anyone is, to be honest. But if you could get Lukaku in with Inter Milan in real financial jeopardy, I think that'd be a great signing. And then Lukaku and Timo Werner, Werner's done his best work as really working as a foil, particularly last year with Poulsen at RB Leipzig. And I don't think we should rule out Timo Werner yet. I'm with Chris, but I want to see him, have the option of not just being that number 9 or something.
Oi!
Bit of pinball.
Get out! Oh my lord! City back against the wall here.
It's the set pieces. I was watching Monday Night Football this week.
That's a real Neymar! What a save!
They said that Man City have been working a lot on their set piece defence, and they have been pretty solid from set pieces, but that was a bit of a mess, and it fell to Neymar in the end, and it was a good save from Ederson. Look at those feet!
What minute are you boys in?
I'm in the 12 minutes 37 seconds.
Oh, okay, fair.
Neymar's on one. His feet look unreal there. Go back to the keeper. Start again. It's funny old Idrissa Gueye, isn't it, playing at this level now? Like I always thought he was a good player at Everton, but I wasn't convinced he could do it for an elite side. I didn't know whether he was good enough on the ball.
Last game, wasn't he?
Didn't know whether he was good enough on the ball, but he's totally proved me wrong, to be honest with you. And I think it's key to have Verratti back in this team, though, for PSG. It's such a massive player for them, man.
Oh, absolutely. And Poch has used him really interestingly, like further forward as well, more like a sort of 10 moving forward, because he retains possession so well in tight areas further forward. And then allows Neymar to have a bit more freedom as well, because you just know that the ball's going to stick with Verratti, and he's been awesome for Poch. So excited to see how he does tonight. And it's been a strong start from PSG, to be honest. I mean, we talked about them, sitting back and looking to hit on the break, but none of that so far. They're playing very well.
They're playing brilliantly, PSG, so far. I have to say, I've been really impressed by the defending and the fact that they're just dominating the ball. You never see teams just dominate the ball against Man City. Man City are usually so dominant, but the first 13 minutes has been absolutely all PSG. Di Maria is picking up some really interesting spaces in between the lines, and Mbappe stretching the play. So this is pretty much the perfect start from Poch so far. It's just missing that goal, and I do think they need to score at home at least once. Come on then, Angel. Come on, Angel. Deliver. We went down a minute ago.
Rooting for Angel Di Maria. What has happened?
I never thought I'd see the day, mate. I never thought I'd see the day that I'm rooting for Angel Di Maria, my most hated player in world football. But it is what it is. Gotta get. Sometimes you just gotta side with the devil, haven't you? This ref's gonna give a penalty. You know, he's trigger happy. This ref.
Oh.
Goal! Goal! Come on! Come on, PSG! Come on!
Behind!
Get in, Marquinhos!
Who said that? Dougie. Blimey. Woo! 1-0. It's a great header.
Great start. City, then? Great start. PSG have been sensational.
The delivery in from Di Maria, Joe. You were talking about it there. It's such a well-worked corner, straight to the near post. Marquinhos just runs across his man and flicks in beautifully.
I mean, the defending by City is
I'm like 40
rotten,
seconds behind.
Paredes just blocking off Ruben
Like I live in a
Diaz
different time zone.
Paredes does a job.
Pause and Hamilton to catch up.
Paredes does a job. We can do.
Second half, eh?
We can. At half time, we'll sort it out. We'll pause at half time to layer ourselves up. But Ruben Diaz gets done by Paredes bad there. Such a good set piece routine, man.
Marquinhos is class as well, man.
What a huge moment that is. Everybody in the chat, apologies to the headphone users. My celeb was loud. Poch. Poch, not even a celeb from Pochlet. Not even a celebration. I love it. Cold.
So pleased for Marquinhos as well. He's had his injury issues this year. He obviously got burgled on the same night that Di Maria did. Di Maria provides the assist there. Marquinhos with the header. Lovely stuff. PSG started exceptionally well in this. But the thing that has impressed me most about...
remontada. I love it.
The thing that's impressed me most about Man City this year in the Champions League, like there were some nervy moments against Dortmund as well, don't forget, but they kept their head, they kept on playing their football, and they just seem so much more composed. Whereas in previous years in the Champions League, we've seen Pep Guardiola's Man City just concede like a glut of goals, like 3 or 4 in 10 minutes. And this year, they just have avoided that so far. So they've really got to get their heads together the next 10 minutes and just get their football talking, because we haven't really seen so much of them so far.
Come on, Di Maria. Stop moaning. Play football. Honestly, this guy, not one of my favourite players in world football, putting it lightly, but I am supporting him tonight. Chat, you can't con us, by the way. We're watching the game in real time, so don't be saying 2-0 because it just...
I'm not. You can con me quite easily, to be fair.
Christopher's about 10 seconds
Hamill's
behind.
just about to watch kickoff. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, this is such a good start by PSG. This is exactly the sort of start Pep wouldn't have wanted as well. Because they just didn't settle. They looked nervy. First 15 minutes, they looked a bit nervy.
No, and now, I don't know, maybe PSG are going to be a little bit perplexed as what to do. Because there's always that sort of, after going ahead relatively early, it's like, do we need to be as expansive as maybe we set out? So Man City wrestled a little bit of possession back here, at least from what I'm watching. So, I don't know, hopefully this opens things up and doesn't lead to PSG sitting back.
I only just remembered to update the score as well. People are not happy with it. My bad. That's my bad. But I'm trying to do everything at once, so just relax.
How was the
spinning
lasagna,
plates here, guys?
The lasagna was absolutely fantastic. Look at that ball by Neymar. Get this guy off. He's ridiculous, isn't he? If he could actually put together a full season, he would genuinely be like the best player in the world, but he just can't do it, can he? He ain't got the bottle for it.
I think I saw today, his goal scoring record is phenomenal for PSG. I think it's like 83 in 103 games with like 40 assists as well.
It's crazy because he's only ever once played 20 plus games in a league season, or like 20 plus starts.
Insane.
How does that happen?
Insane. He's such a good player, and I feel like because not enough people in England watch like the French league consistently, they just think he's a prima donna, he's a diver, and yeah, there's elements to his game that is quite frustrating, but. He's got to be one of everyone's favourite players to watch in world football, and he's playing at his best.
Definitely.
Like, him and Messi are just like a step above on the ball, I feel.
Mate, Neymar can do things that I haven't seen since Ronaldinho. Seriously, he just takes a piss out there.
He's only made 11 starts in the league this season. It's quite sad, isn't it? The physical deterioration. Like you can still turn it on for special nights like this, but like it's those 20 starts you were talking about, Joe. That was in his first campaign, and he started less and less each season.
I know.
So, yeah, let's hope it's not like totally.
The thing is, he does get kicked to all hell as well, doesn't he? Like people just boot him because they can't get near him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, League, and I was going to say, Duke, it's not. I mean, it is physical and it is quick, but like it's not like a totally terrible league for Neymar to be in at this point, which is I suppose a little bit more worrying. But
no, I think Ligue 1's getting a lot better. I think people are starting to respect the talent that's coming out of it, and the fact that that French squad just doesn't come from nowhere. It's all been developed in French academies. Most of it's come out of the Paris suburbs. Actually, I wrote a video about it the other day. Really interesting, like a hotbed of talent in the world. No city develops more footballers that make international teams in the world than Paris. That's a great effort from Bernardo getting that on target, winning a corner.
Don't know how he managed to get his toe to that.
Delicious ball over the top.
By the way, this Dutch left back Bakker, who's playing for PSG, he started so well. The first 20 minutes, he's been unreal on this left-hand side. So hopefully that continues, because I think he I don't know if he plays every game for PSG, does he?
No, I mean, he wouldn't normally. It's sort of Kazawa as well that sort of floats around. They kind of alternate, but I think Kazawa's active this game, I think. But it is crucial, that left-wing position against Mahrez, because Sergio Reguilon got just routinely
he was terrible
by Mahrez.
He was useless.
I mean, we all know he plays on the edge, but he was just so rattled the whole game. It was like he never played a cup final. And he's played for Real Madrid. Like, come on. Mahrez just had him on toast the whole game.
Yeah, and even if he does get past Bakker, like Kimpembe's having a great season, isn't he? Like that would fill you with confidence being Bakker playing next to Kimpembe, who is when Marquinhos has had those injury woes, has been a mainstay.
City are really struggling so far. Like they're struggling for ideas on the pitch. This is the most I've seen City struggle for a long time, playing against like a decent opposition. Usually they're just ball dominant. Look at that by Verratti. Absolute joker, man. But yeah, they look really excellent, PSG. They're absolutely on it. Poch's got them so well drilled. There's like 2 banks of 4 when they're off the ball. On the ball, Neymar's dropping into those spaces. And there's obviously loads of width because City have got a lot of central midfielders. So, man, they've started so well, PSG. Much better than I thought they would.
And the interesting thing is they're kind of giving Man City possession around the halfway line and just man-marking their attackers. And not really pressing them that hard at all. And Man City so far just... they're not playing any of those chips through balls they're able to do because all their attackers are just marked. So they're just leaving possession with Rodri and DS and Stone so far. And we haven't really seen enough of Cancelo, who's normally so dangerous in those wide areas as well. So it is a bit concerning for Man City so far, but it's early days.
Yeah, it is. And what they're doing well, PSG, is they're really pressing Rodri when he gets the ball pretty hard. I don't know whether they've identified him as sort of a potential weakness, but they're pressing him pretty hard. That's brilliant defending. That's fantastic defending on Phil Foden. We've not seen Phil Foden at all. We've not mentioned his name first 22 minutes after hyping him up as being one of the best young players in the world. He's not been able to get on the ball. Credit to PSG for that because off the ball they're just Neymar. It's just outrageous.
Those twinkle toes again.
Man, sending KDB for a hot dog, isn't he? KDB doesn't know where he's going. Oh,
that was a Meg.
He does love to hit the deck though after doing a skill, doesn't he? Like he wasn't that bad. Get up, man. This is why people don't particularly like him, Neymar. But he just...
It's the theatrics.
Yeah, he is sensational though.
I kind of like it. I feel like football needs box office like characters, love and hate characters. I think that's why Jose Mourinho's lasted in the last few years, to be honest, because he's clearly not up to it managerial anymore. But people just love to have hate figures in the game, and you've got to the life is about difference, and Neymar divides opinion like no other. But I think you've got to respect his ability.
Ability-wise, like surely nobody can actually watch him and question how good he is on the ball. Oh, Mbappe. Oh, defending by Stonesy. Ruben Diaz, where are you off, sir?
Diaz.
They look nervous, City. City look nervous all over the park. The midfield's not zipping the ball around. The defence looked a bit rattled. Verratti snapping into tackles. This is what I like to see. City rattled.
Yeah, they haven't got going so far at all. We normally see their midfield pop around 10, 15 passes, then go into that sort of attacking phase, and they just haven't really been able to build it because PSG have just man-marked them so well, that 4-4-2, and they haven't really got any ideas so far because they don't have that focal point as a forward, so they can't even hit it long even if they wanted to. So it's going to be interesting whether, I'm not suggesting Pep needs to change it so far. I think they'll keep patience just yet, but maybe there'll be a change at half time because it can't really carry on like this.
I'm telling you, Backer's on one tonight. He's feeling himself. Verratti's just zipping the ball around. They're all over it at the moment, PSG. This is the best I've seen them play in the competition so far.
That's a great ball.
I watched this PSG side against Man United at the Parc des Princes, and they were horrible. So...
Yeah, I mean, they are lacking searing pace, aren't they, at the moment? So I think PSG are quite confident that they're going to make it back, even if they do deploy a reasonably high line, which they are. It's only 10, 15 yards into the... Even when Rodri's got the ball, they're not retreating that much.
Oh, that's a bit lucky. It'll work. I agree. Without that pace of a Jesus Sterling in behind, this is lovely by PSG, by the way. City can't get the ball off them.
Yeah, Verratti's playing really well. Not really playing as a 10.
Verratti's playing so well, man. This is so good from PSG. Let's go. I usually despise PSG, but tonight I'm the biggest fan.
You're rooting for them in El Clasico.
I know.
As it's been coined.
Yeah.
Nice.
Really good from you, actually, that Dukes. City,
I can't claim that.
City a bit vulnerable from set plays as well. With
another set piece. Here we go.
I think Paredes is also underrated. I remember him coming in for Verratti against RB Leipzig in last season's competition, and him being pretty much a game changer. Oh,
what a delivery, by the way! What a delivery!
I think that might have been whipping in,
And it's Kanushik says you guys are 5 seconds behind. We're not. We're 100% up to speed.
I am more than 5 seconds behind.
Chris
That's
is
cool.
behind, but me and Dukes aren't.
which is puzzling because I'm watching it on my phone. So
if you do it through Sky Go, there's always a bit of a delay.
What's
yeah,
Verratti moaning about?
it's through Sky Go. This is not a sponsored stream. Thank God, because I'm not really selling the product very well.
What's Verratti moaning about now? He's always got a problem, Verratti, isn't he? This ref, I'm telling you, this ref is going to give a little
Jack Russell, isn't he?
This ref, he's trigger happy. Look at him, he's in conversation every blimmin' set piece.
His name, yeah.
Is it Wolf?
He's the classic.
Gang, is it?
He's the German guy, yeah. Big authoritarian. No,
what a huge chance! Paredes. What a huge chance.
Man City need to wake up. Seriously.
This would be this is the most impressive I've seen a Poch side play against a Guardiola side. Like, I think he's only beat him 3 times out of 18 previous encounters. So this would be a huge scalp for Poch on a personal level as well. They're outdoing Manchester City at what we associate Manchester City as the master.
Look at that. I mean, look at that. When do you ever see a Pep team struggling to play out like that? Like Ederson panicking. Like this, PSG have started real, man. Like, this is class by PSG. And do you know what? I think they are, like Chris said a minute ago, they're backing like Kimpembe's pace. They're backing against Bernardo Silva or whatever in behind. So they're happy to leave the room behind and then really make the centre of the pitch incredibly compact. Because at the moment, it's all PSG. They can't get out of their own box, City.
Yeah. There's no space between the lines really at all, and they can't really find Foden and Mahrez on either wing. I think we've seen the ball go to Mahrez wide maybe once or twice, and we haven't really seen them run at backer, which is one of their key points, because Foden is quick, but he's probably not going to beat a man one-on-one for skill that much because he's so diminutive. You can sort of bully him slightly physically.
Yeah.
You need him coming in off that flank into sort of central areas, and it's so difficult to get the ball off him. But it's not really working so far for Pep so far. But as I said, so far against Dortmund, they haven't panicked when they've had testing moments. So I'm sure they'll carry on plugging away. And remember, 1-1 in this game is a great result for City. So it's not doom and gloom just yet.
Yeah, definitely not. And PSG needs to score again while they've got this much pressure, because City are going to come into the game. It's not going to stay like this forever. Pep will tweak things at half time and throughout, and it will all change. So they need to take a chance.
We saw that with Chelsea last night. Should have got 2 in that first half and put the tie to bed. But PSG definitely been on top so far. I can't really remember Keylor Navas being tested that much, except for that Bernardo Silva.
Now you've said that, dude. This free kick's going to cause huge problems, and it's going to probably score. Watch this happen.
The curse of Critchley.
A lot of people in the comments absolutely delighted to see Phil Foden struggling. Yeet Mad Durin says, "Wait, Foden's on the pitch, lol." Yes, he is on the pitch. So
Come on, guys. He's 20.
20 years old. When he scores a screamer in this fixture, I expect all of you to have the same energy, because
Florenzi got battered when they played United, though, didn't they?
Yeah, he did badly. Class by Paredes. Paredes has been great, hasn't he? Here it goes, Mbappe.
It's funny about people in the chat rejoicing about Foden.
So good. Now he's on a booking.
I think for English fans, we've actually stayed pretty composed about Foden compared to how English football fans tend to get about emerging players. So it's funny that people in the chat, I imagine that they're not from here, are enjoying Foden's sort of quiet start to the game so far.
João Cancelo booked already.
Foden, you spoke about Pedri earlier. I think Pedri's made like 24 starts for Barcelona. Like, Foden's only made 15 in the Premier League. This is, like, regardless of how good he's been in various ties, this is still like one of the biggest games of his career to date. Like, it's not all supposed to be that easy for him.
City got a bit more energy now about him, by the way, in the press. Goals like KDB pressing Keylor Navas. Look,
here we go. Here's a chance.
It's all from that press there. City.
Foden free on the left. Cross that.
Mahrez.
Oh,
that's a pen. Could be a pen. Foot was very,
with a
very
high foot from Paredes.
Foot was very high.
He told Mahrez to shut up as he went back.
Foot was.
That I think they might have a look at this.
I think the foot was very high here. I think this is a potential pen. Well, there's another foul from Walker on Neymar, so I'm not sure how many more he can get away with. This is what City need to do, though. Press a bit higher. I think this is...
Foden clicks the ball, and Mahrez goes for the header, and then... maybe not.
He wins it pretty well, but it is... I mean, it's risky, but...
Oh, yeah, he wins it in front. If he doesn't connect with the ball there, maybe.
Yeah. Neymar was on about 5 fouls already, and we're 30 minutes in.
Yeah.
Like, he must be the most foul player in Europe, surely.
Absolute eel.
Di Maria is good, isn't he? Such a, like... I hate him, but he is so good, man.
He's very solid. He's got a great engine as well for someone of his age.
Yeah, I think he's been underrated for a little while. Like, his output has matched, if not, I don't know, probably surpassed Neymar's this season, largely owing to injury. But...
That was the joke. That was a joke. If this is a goal, this will be one of the best of the Champions League so far.
What's happening? I'm like 30 seconds behind.
Okay, so Chris, get excited for Neymar and Verratti's interchange on the left flank.
If that had resulted in a goal, look at him on KDB. They're on him like flies on shit. It's unreal. KDB can't even have a sniff.
This is so impressive from PSG. What will be interesting is whether they can keep this intensity up for a full 90, because against Bayern Munich, who admittedly were playing very well in that first
He's in, Mbappe! What's he done?
It had moments that first half where they dropped off. It goes back to back. A great drop from John Stones.
Why didn't he put his head on it?
I don't know.
That's a huge chance, by the way. PSG need to score again while they're this on top, because they are absolutely slaughtering City out there.
City look a bit tired, a bit ragged as well.
Rattled, mate. Di Maria! That's outrageous!
Oh dear.
What has he done? Fuck's sake, Di Maria. Done so well to get into there.
I can't remember the last time I saw City play this poorly, to be honest. I don't know whether to give it credit to PSG or say City are playing poorly, but they are being overrun entirely. I don't think I've seen it, even in the Chelsea game in that FA Cup semi-final, like City still had a certain amount of control. They just didn't really contain Chelsea's counter-attacks. But here, they're not getting parity of the ball. They're getting completely overrun in midfield, and none of their attacks are coming to anything so far.
I mean, Liga and experts in the chat, feel free to kind of interject, but this is the most I've seen PSG press, at least in a high-profile tie, ever. They are swarming them.
All over KDB. Whenever KDB gets the ball, they're all over him. Look at the passing range isn't working for City. Balls that usually find the feet. Idrissa Gueye is on one on KDB. Poch is going, get on to him, Idrissa.
Yeah, it's been very impressive from all their side really so far. I think all of the PSG players have come to the party. Kimpembe and Marquinhos have dealt very well with what little threat City have got. I feel like that false nine system just hasn't worked so far in this game at all. They've got no central man to work off, Man City, and KDB dropping deep.
Look at the amount of room they've got in behind here, PSG.
Does, and then they're on the counter again.
Oh, Ederson's whiffed one. Where's Ederson off?
I feel like we're just watching different games at this point. Why do I keep volunteering to do lives when I have to watch it a minute behind you, Per?
You need to get a Sky Q mini box, mate.
I do. We had this conversation last time, then I just forgot about it.
Brilliant. Verratti's been a different level, by the way. First 35 minutes. He is just outrageous.
Yeah, no, he's been exceptional. On the point of Ederson, I remember watching Man City fans sort of on Twitter prior to that second leg against Dortmund, and they were saying the one thing we fear most of all is Ederson, just because he can be a little bit erratic. And he had a moment there when he tried to clear the ball to the left-hand side and just completely shanked it into the stands. So one to watch, maybe, in a negative sense.
This is the best I've seen PSG play, like maybe ever though. First 36 minutes, like they're obviously an outstanding team, but look at Verratti, man. He's unplayable right now.
Yeah,
he's genuinely unplayable. Can't get near him.
Did you guys do that live stream, PSG Real Madrid at the start of last season? I think it was like September 2019.
Yes.
They won
3-0. 3-0.
Yeah, that was the best PSG performance I'd ever seen until tonight. I think this is surpassing it so
City
far.
can't
Obviously,
get
there's a
out,
long way
mate.
to
This
go.
is a battering, by the way.
Also unreal that night as well.
Shout out Trezeguet, yeah, exactly.
This is a battering so far by PSG. Like, have City had a shot? Is a chance though, KDB.
I can tell you the answer.
I can't remember City having a shot.
They've had
I don't remember them.
Yeah, 2 and 1 on target, apparently.
Yeah.
I feel like they need a.
I suppose that header
had-
from Mahrez.
I feel like they need a focal point, man.
I shouldn't be giving live stats out because I'm about 8 hours behind.
I feel like they need a focal point, City. It all feels a bit too easy for PSG just playing it in front of them.
And also, I feel like Fernandinho might have to be introduced sooner rather than later. Just because that hole is gaping in front of Ruben Diaz, John Stones, and co.
Yeah.
Difficult though with I suppose
Chance.
Unless you take off Bernardo Silva or Gundogan maybe.
I know you mean it's difficult to bring Fernandinho on with Rodri also playing, but
yeah, they did it a few times earlier in the season. I seem to remember, but it never went that. I mean, it kind of hampered them in an attacking sense, and they do need to get a goal. I feel.
I think any changes Bernardo Silva might be a victim of here because he's been hugely absent.
Yeah, I think he's been very quiet so far. Good chance, easily dealt with by Keylor Navas, and the counter is on.
Neymar never gives it away in those sort of areas either, does he?
No. Just nice, composed.
They're so composed on the ball tonight, PSG. I've been so impressed by their midfield. I actually was saying pre-game in other shows that I thought City's midfield would be totally dominant tonight. But the addition of Verratti is just, you can't... He's like 2 players in there. You can't get the ball off him ever. He reminds me so much of Iniesta, man, Verratti, when he plays. Like, just those little spins he does on the ball.
Yeah, and the freedom he gives to Neymar as well, because he's so intelligent. Look at him. Like, he's back there covering if Neymar loses the ball right there. He just sort of screens the play really effectively, offering defensive cover if they get broken on, or a ball retention option as well. He's a magnificent player.
Like everyone, even down to Trezeguet, like is just super press resistant at PSG, aren't they?
What's happened to Neymar?
Touching his elbow. I think he's fine. That didn't look too bad, but
hopefully this is just him being soft there. Classic Neymar manoeuvre, and he hasn't actually broke his arm or something.
He's gone for this one, so I think he's all right. He's gone for the covering the eyes.
What do you boys think about Manchester City being the favourite destination for Harry Kane then? They were 3.5 to 1. Well, no, sorry, just 3.5. I was using American betting metrics. Just 3.5 last time I checked. They were favourites though.
Obviously, that's definitely where he should go, but just it's an impossible signing, man. Like, Daniel Levy's just going to demand 200 million. They're not going to be able to get hold of him. This never, ever going to move into an English side, Harry Kane, while he's got a contract like that. He should never have signed that 6-year deal he did. He'd be amazing for City. He would genuinely be ridiculous because his link-up play is so good as well. Like, on the ball, he's unreal, but it's just never going to happen. That's unreal football. Diaz has been hammered. Finish it, surely, one of you. Pen.
Is that a penalty?
Got to be a pen. I can't believe he hasn't given it.
Unless he's gone for a tumble. That looks like there could be a penalty there. But
the only thing I will say is, did Florenzi tackle Neymar then? It almost felt like Florenzi's foot was the one that did Neymar.
Yeah, he did seem to fall quite dramatically as well. I don't know how much contact there was. I might be wrong on that. But just while we wait for confirmation on that, yeah, Harry Kane, he would be awesome for City. I just can't see City stumping up the £120 million plus it's gonna take this summer. And if they are going to, here we go.
No,
yeah, you're right.
Florenzi,
I think it was Florenzi.
I'm sure Florenzi is the one that fouls him, like accidentally.
Eagle-eyed Tomlinson, great.
Yeah, it is.
I think Mahrez gets a leg in there as well. To be fair.
No, it's Florenzi, man. What's he doing? Get out of the way. He's just tackled Neymar with a really good chance.
But yeah, I feel like if you've got 120 million, you're obviously going to look at Erling Haaland, who's probably, particularly if Dortmund don't make the Champions
League. Oh, it's poor by PSG. What have they done?
Good save by Keylor Navas.
Oh my God, I'm just watching you two on Skype, man. Just the reaction as to what's happened. Terrible viewing experience.
Foden,
That's
that's
a
a big
great
chance for
setup by
Foden.
Bernardo.
It's a terrible finish as well, man.
Straight at Keylor Navas at a good height.
Not
Not
good.
Ideal.
Not
They're
good.
back in shape so quickly, aren't they, PSG?
PSG just look monumental out there, though. They really do. Obviously, that was a chance that came from an error, but they look a scary outfit tonight, man. They really do. Poch has got them so well drilled in that midfield. The shape they're picking up, those really narrow central midfielders.
Although going from
a lot of people
Tuchel to Poch, like it must be quite easy for Poch to adapt.
Defo.
Whatever he was doing, because like he was still a pressing team under him, weren't they?
Yeah.
But
okay. It's just interesting to all the articles I was reading this week, all the podcasts I was listening to, have said that PSG are going to be really compact. They're going to wait to break, but actually, yeah, we've seen them break on occasion, but they've actually dominated the ball. I'm not sure what the possession is right now, but it feels like even if it's been less than 50%, they've made so much more of it. They've had it in so much dangerous areas. Like we haven't. They've
had the meaningful possession. I would agree 100%, Dukes. We've seen Manchester City as a ploy this season. Like they're very willing to pass it across that midfield, go through that sort of U motion to entice people out of their positions. But PSG are just standing there, aren't they, in rank?
And Idrissa Gueye everywhere as well. I'd love to see how many tackles Idrissa Gueye put in so far, because he is everywhere. He's on KDB. KDB has not been able to breathe.
Yeah. They're so
he looks a little bit tired as well.
I think Man City, this sounds maybe a bit weird, they're a bit too stretched going forward. Like whenever I just saw KDB try and pick up the ball there, and there was Foden within 20 meters, but no one else is really there. Like they're holding on to their positions too much. Like I feel like the ball, particularly without a number 9, they need to get in and support the central player, because at the moment both of Gueye and Paredes are just snuffing out whoever gets the ball within 30 yards of goal.
If your false 9 is playing so deep, they're actually just an 8. I suppose it doesn't really work as well, does it?
Yeah, there's just a gaping hole where there should be numbers for Man City, and PSG have just been completely in control of this, except for that Foden chance. Yeah,
and we haven't even seen Mbappe have an impact so far. Mbappe's been really quiet. It's been the rest of the PSG side we've been talking about, which is what I didn't think we'd be saying that. Like Verratti, I think for me has been the best player on the pitch.
Well, I think you two boys have. Yeah, I was going to say you've sounded out like that. It's largely been a battle of the midfield, right? And like we talk about Man City not having too many clear-cut opportunities, but PSG have only had, I'd guess, 3 or 4 on target, like max. They've had 2 shots on target.
Yeah.
No, 4. Sorry, Man City have had 2, and so Edison's not exactly been like keeping them in the game, has he? But
no, they did have a great chance headed from the corner, though, didn't they? Did have a great chance headed from the corner.
Yeah, the Paredes one. I felt like
Neymar, how much room he's got in there? Is Mbappe.
Mbappe cutting in. Oh, nice feet. Backer offside. It's going to be interesting in this second half, though, because obviously they do have Gabi Jesus as an option. And I can't imagine that he's going to throw Aguero into the fray with the lack of football he's had so far. And maybe he'll go Gabi Jesus, but I feel like Pep has been quite reluctant to use him in these big games until quite late on. He really does back this sort of false 9 system, and he's quite stubborn, Pep. So I'd be surprised if he made a change at half time. But
that's outrageous.
Well done, Walker. Get it away.
The actual level of football in this game is so high. Like the quality of ability is scary in this game. No offense to the Chelsea Madrid game last night, but PSG would have absolutely murdered either of those sides. Like, they are so good. And City are obviously like the best team in England by a mile and are getting outplayed.
Okay, that's a bit nicer. Go on, Gundogan.
That's better. Much better from City. That's much, much better.
This is more like it.
Look at them, though. PSG are on it. Look at Di Maria there. Half time. Half time. Wow. That was some performance by PSG.
I'll let you boys know when I catch up.
First 45 minutes. Some performance by PSG. They are outrageous. Right, let's take some questions from the chat. If any of you guys have anything you want to mention, let us know in the chat right now. Let's go back to Discord for a bit, potentially. What questions have we got here? I want to kind of keep it about the game, actually. A lot of people are saying Phil Foden needs to come off for Raheem Sterling, not had much impact. Thoughts?
I think it's probably quite fair, to be honest. Who has had an impact for Man City in an attacking sense? I don't feel like we could just be singling out Foden. Yes, he had that big opportunity, but I don't think we've seen enough of Mahrez. I think KDB's been nullified really effectively. But yeah, if you're looking to make changes, Sterling to come on, Jesus to come on, they're probably the first names I'd look to change either tactically or personnel.
Yeah, I don't know what you think, Hamster, but I feel like Bernardo Silva's been pretty lost in there as well. Verratti's done a tremendous job on him so far. I would be potentially thinking about changing that up. I just think they've got to get a focal point in there, somebody who's at least going to stretch the game, because when it's all being played in front of Kimpembe and Marquinhos, it's absolutely ideal for him when Idrissa Gueye can just eat up the ground.
Yeah, I mean, one option might be to take Silva off, put De Bruyne back in the midfield, and then bring on someone like Gabby Jesus and keep Foden and Mahrez both on, because I don't feel like it'd be fair to pull Foden, like Dougie just pointed out. I don't, just because we talked about him and he was hyped up before the game, like he's not been disproportionately bad or ineffective. We did say early doors that we didn't anticipate Gundogan making those runs beyond, and that's not been the case. But yeah, there has just been a huge vacuum when KDB has been sucked deep to pull, to pick up that ball from like Stones and Diaz. It just feels like there's a big void down the middle, and I think that could be solved bringing KDB a little bit further back. But yeah, I don't. Pep doesn't tend to make many changes at half time, does he?
No. Colm on Discord, Duke, says, will PSG regret not scoring more than once in that half?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure, Colm. But the weird thing is, yeah, they completely dominated that half. I thought they were by far the better side. But I don't really remember Ederson having to make any outstanding saves. There was one from a corner early on.
Yeah.
They obviously scored from a corner as well. But don't get me wrong, PSG have been well on top, and is, at the end of that game against Man City, between Real Madrid and Chelsea, we were saying, did Chelsea make a mistake in not dominating and getting a second goal in that first half? Because Man City will almost be impossible to be that bad again. I know it's such a common phrase used in football, but they were really off colour in that game. I just don't believe that's what they're going to do for 90 minutes. They've got to step it up.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's no way Man City are going to come out that level second half. Surely Pep tweaks it second half, because it's been way too easy for PSG to get after Man City. KDB has just been suffocated by Idrissa Gueye, Di Maria coming central on him, Florenzi clamping down on him. Done a great job nullifying KDB's threat, because he's really struggled in there. Kushagra also on Discord, Kushagra_17 says, are City suffering a lot more due to a lack of genuine width and a proper striker on the pitch? ? Hamster, we just kind of briefly spoke about it, but a lot of people in the chat saying Aguero, get Aguero on. I don't think it's as simple as bringing Aguero on. He's not played in weeks.
Yeah, well, just to touch upon that point raised by the whole width issue, I mean, that normally comes from Cancelo, doesn't it? Particularly when he's playing down the right, but that's normally reliant on Zinchenko making up that back three by becoming sort of an inverted fullback. Obviously, he's gone with Cancelo on the left and Walker on the right. Walker's been largely ineffective, great recovery pace, and obviously that I'm sure that was a factor when picking him to play with Mbappe in the side, and they've actually done a really good job of nullifying Mbappe. Mbappe's had to drop in and be a creator. I think I imagine he's probably leading this game for chances created. But yeah, Florenzi, Bacca, Walker, Cancelo, it's not been a game where fullbacks have been bombing on and finding loads of space, because it is quite congested in the midfield. And I think PSG are being conservative with their positioning. That's what I would instinctively say. So it might be. I think Man City are just going to find it hard to find space behind Florenzi and Bacca when they're when they don't feel the necessity to bomb on.
Yeah, I think as well, Cancelo being on a booking is a big problem for Manchester City second half. There was a moment where Mbappe stood him up one-on-one. He actually did really well, and he was on a booking at that stage. PSG are the sort of side, especially with Neymar in there, that if you foul one more time on a yellow, they will be wrapped around the referee like a scarf. He will not live it down. And I think Cancelo could end up getting sent off. So they need to be really careful about Cancelo. I would be considering potentially Zinchenko, because I just think this is the side that gets you sent off, and no Joao Cancelo for the second leg is a massive issue.
And then just how do they get those guys into one-on-one situations with Bacca, with Florenzi? Because obviously Gay, Paredes, Verratti are all covering their fullbacks so well. It's like they need to coax them and 15 yards further. We've seen Real Madrid do it. We've seen Liverpool do it. Play these long balls where they try to split, to exploit the space between the fullback and the centre back because of scenarios like this. But City don't really have that presence up front to even go a little bit more direct, do they? So that pace and behind. So yeah, tricky one. I don't really know how they can tweak it. I just think if PSG could be their own worst enemies here, I think let them go for it. They might leave the space that City are desperately craving.
Yeah, Apadaka 117 says, "Is this the best football you've seen in Europe this season from PSG, or let's say from anyone? Is this the best football you've seen so far this season, Dukes?"
I think it's got to be right up there. I also thought the first leg of PSG versus Bayern was truly exceptional as well, in a very different kind of way, and a very, very different sort of PSG performance as well. I thought Neymar was simply exceptional in that first 45 minutes. PSG were incredibly lucky to come away with a 3-2 win, and Bayern created some awesome opportunities. And it crucial in that game, in both legs, was the fact that Bayern didn't have Lewandowski. And, if they'd had Lewandowski for both those legs, it could have been a very different story. Having said that, they profited off having Choupo-Moting occupying Kimpembe and Marquinhos, and the Müllers, the Sanes around him as well. So maybe, putting a number 9 in 15 minutes into this half is a good way to go for Pep. But he does have a great squad, great options. I'd like to see Sterling as well at some stage as well. I feel like, big moments require, players with maybe a little bit more experience as well. And Sterling's certainly got that. So I'd like to see what he can do as well. But this is definitely not over. Having said that, this is a weird thing to say, but I don't think if Man City lose this game 1-0, I don't think it's a disaster. I really don't. If it's 2-0, very different story. But 1-0 to go back to the Etihad, I think they can overturn that.
Yeah, I agree. Narike97 says, "Do you think KDB is looking absolutely shattered in the first half? It's not just him being pressed. It seems almost dead on his feet, IMO. I do think this is an issue. For Man City, having just had to play at full throttle against Tottenham, because even though they were very comfortable against Tottenham, they didn't score till quite late, so the game was still in the balance at points, and they were having to work their socks off to create chances, even though Tottenham were pretty mediocre. And I do think that is probably going to have a bearing, because even though PSG might be able to keep this pace up they set first half, them being injured is being tired, is a big factor in this game, I think.
Yeah, massively. And PSG's game against Metz was on Saturday, I think, quite early on Saturday as well. So they have had that extra recovery time. And, Man City also had to travel to PSG. There are a few things working against them. At the same time, I don't want to put that first half performance down to tiredness, even though Man City did look a bit tired. I just think they got completely outplayed by some monster PSG performances. Neymar, Verratti, Gay in particular.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, PSG had to play in the week as well, though, didn't they? They played against Angers in the Cup. So they played the quarterfinal of the French Cup at the weekend. So it's not been too dissimilar. They've had a midweek game as well.
Yeah. Should we pause our streams, Duke, so Hamill is no longer watching on delay?
Yeah. I was just listening. I was basically a subscriber that half. Okay. I was just listening to you.
So Hamill, you're going to have to tell us. Pause? We'll pause at kickoff, Dukes. So just before he kicks the ball, and then Hamill, you'll have to tell us literally when he kicks the ball.
I'm locked and loaded, ready to go.
Me too, locked and loaded. We'll see.
What, are you both paused?
Well, we're going to pause when it gets to kickoff.
No.
So, Hamill, refresh your stream now, I'd say. So you're at least going to be in and around, like, fairly up to date with us.
I'm on the advert.
Chris can join the fun.
Yeah, we're on the adverts as well. We're a little bit ahead of you. We're on, I think I'm on like an NHS advert or something like that. But either way, I want to align it so we can actually have a proper viewing experience. And then I will be checking in on the chat, but I don't want it being spoiler central in the chat. So I'm effectively gonna not look at the chat for the second half. So if you've got anything to say,
who you
let us know.
Oh, this big Whopper advert's making me hungry.
Oh my god,
right, I'll be back in a...
so far behind us. Wait, if you're gonna go now, because the second half's gonna start in a second.
All right, Jesus.
Wait for the second half to start now, for goodness sake.
Haaland.
Antonio says...
Every silence in my life is filled with that song.
I know.
It's class.
A few people saying opinions on the Hall of Fame in the Premier League. I will be doing...
I've not even looked into it.
I will be doing a We Need to Talk on that one. Going out on Friday before the boycotts, potentially. So I will be doing
one on
that.
Two solid choices, to be honest. I don't think you can really start with anyone other than Thierry Henry and Alan Shearer.
Well, it was meant to be Giggsy. But he got pulled last minute, obviously, for off the field matters.
Right.
It was meant to be Alan Shearer and Ryan Giggs, and then Thierry took his place.
Does Giggs deserve to be there as a player? Maybe we shouldn't touch on Giggs because it's such a sensitive matter. But even as a player, I'd have Shearer and Henry.
I agree. Like, not going to comment on all that stuff. But how can Thierry Henry not be first, or in the first round?
Well, I think Giggs' sheer numbers of Premier League titles, volume.
Sure.
13. Is it 13 Premier League titles or 11? Something like that.
Greatest overseas player. This is why these things annoy me. Like I have no interest in them, and they're like the mechanics of them either. Like I don't even know why I'm chiming in with an opinion. To be perfectly frank.
Patrick Suskell says, Joe, why are you supporting Man City? How am I supporting Man City? I'm wearing a PSG shirt, and I absolutely lost my head when they scored. So just shut your mouth, Patrick.
He's been rooting for Maria, which is against every bone in his body.
Yeah, literally, genuinely is. He gets every fibre in my body to support Angel Di Maria, but I'm doing it tonight because I need Man City to crash out of this tournament. Please.
Why? Why are you so desperate for them to crash out?
What do you mean? I don't want Man City to win the Champions League for about 18 different reasons.
What makes them? Well, sure. Like I know Manchester City, Manchester United, but like, what a tournament where like the neutral is most comfortable with Real Madrid winning. The Champions League. I've just no loyalties for these last four. I think they're all as bad as each other.
Yeah, but. I think, number one, I'm not PSG's biggest fan, but it would be nice to see Neymar lift another Champions League. Like, I think it's been a long time coming for me, for especially if you're Neymar, because he's unreal talent. He doesn't
plays about 8 games a season.
Doesn't play enough games, yeah, but he is due one, isn't he? Christ.
It'd be very good for Poch as well, to be fair, because if he doesn't win the Champions League and doesn't win Liga, there's going to be annoying people on football Twitter that are going to complain that Poch is a bottle job when, he took over halfway through a season, hasn't won Liga, has played exceptionally well up to, halfway through the first leg of the semi-final. It's just going to frustrate me.
See, I'm more in tune with you, Dougie. Like, what annoying narrative will the winner of this nip in the bud? Will it be that, like, Pep Guardiola can't win a Champions League without Messi? That's a boring one to kind of get involved with. Like, I quite like the idea of PSG not winning it, and their sort of version of the Galactico project being wholly unjustified by like 5 years of underwhelming in Europe. Imagine if they lose the league and the Champions League this term, and Neymar's just signed that monstrous new deal.
Dukes, I've got one to throw your way here. It's a bit off topic of the Champions League, but it's a weird story that's coming out of France. In that Christophe Galtier, obviously Lille's manager, is on the verge of joining Nice.
What?
Yeah.
Nice, I think are 10th.
From Fabrizio Romano.
That is really
Nice have made a proposal to him, and he's very tempted. He's seriously considering the offer.
They must be offering him absolute cheddar, absolute fromage, mate.
I think Lille's finances are in a really poor state. But what I thought was going to happen was they were going to sell a couple of their stars. Lille were going to send a couple of their stars, and then he was just going to go again. But Christophe Galtier is a great manager. I was reading an article about him the other day on The Athletic, which I highly advise everyone to read. He was so close to replacing Tim Sherwood in charge of Aston Villa. Do you know when they signed Remy Gard? Yeah. And then absolutely flopped. It was nearly Christophe Galtier. He was about to leave. I think he was at St Etienne at the time. But the sporting director there burst into tears, so he decided to stay. They hired Remy Gard and then had one of the worst spells in Premier League history. So it's all a bit interlinked. But Christophe Galtier, I don't know what you're doing going to Nice. You got something special going on.
It hasn't been confirmed yet, but this is Fabrizio Romano reporting this on Twitter, and quite a few French media outlets reporting the same thing. I've got this ready. So, Dougs, as soon as the whistle blows, I'm clicking pause.
The whistle. Should we do it as soon as he touches the ball?
As soon as he touches the ball, I'm hitting pause. So, Chris, you need to be on it, telling us when he touches the ball on yours, so we can kick play.
Yeah, all over it. Ball touching. I've got it.
Okay, so the PSG players are coming out. Neymar's got a bit of strapping on that left elbow that was causing him some problems in the first half after a collision with João Cancelo. Those shorts are very low on Neymar, aren't they? He always does this, doesn't he? Don't do his boots up till he gets on the field. He's such a weird little
part of his image, though. He's the guy that doesn't care. He's so talented, he doesn't need shoelaces.
Yeah, it is. And also, it's definitely helping out that Puma sponsorship, isn't it? Make sure you get them in shot. Yeah. All right, they're about to kick the ball, Dougs, I think. So
do you boys know
I'm literally
Pele was
eagle-eyed here.
Pele was once given $125,000 to tie his Puma shoelaces.
All right, I've paused it. Literally, ball contact. So Hamill, tell us when ball contact occurs for you, please.
Out of context, Football Daily are going to have an absolute
I'm on an aerial shot.
Oh, God, you're so far back.
Well, yeah. I've only just seen the strapping now.
Has Neymar done his boots up yet?
No. He's doing them right now.
Okay, so it's about to kick off for you then. Get ready, because it goes quite quickly from that to kick off.
Till Gundogan gets his touch.
You can see when the ref's starting to put his whistle to his mouth.
Can I remind you that you guys both went with a Man City win? You went 2-1 and 3-1.
I have absolutely no shame in being proven wrong at the semi-final stage of the Champions League.
No, I just think it's intriguing. I've even got one of the goals.
Right, it kicked off.
Wow, no warning outs all there, but we're into the game. Okay, so we're all synced now, which should make for a better viewing experience for Christopher Hamill, because first half he was basically watching us.
He's had a front row seat.
City need to get hold of the ball second half. They need to get back to doing what they do best, and that's dominating possession and just being patient, because they were panicking and rushing it first half.
The thing is, like, normally when Pep loses in the Champions League, there's always talk that, you know, he overthought his starting lineup, etc. I don't think there'll be any of this chat this time if they lose this game and then lose in the semi-finals as well. They've just come up against the side in that first half that are playing at their very, very best right now, I think. And it just completely nullified them so far.
Yeah, PSG, this is, like we said, this is one of their best performances in the Champions League.
I think it's one of their most disciplined performances. It's not that they've not been in full attacking flow. It's not been, for me, the most entertaining. You touched upon it earlier. It's been very high quality. Yeah. They've executed the game plan to a very good degree. Yeah,
that's a really good free kick for Riyad Mahrez to win in there, by the way.
It's a great position.
It's a great chance for
your boy Bacca giving it away, Joe.
Bacca's massive as well, isn't he? Do you know Celtic tried to get Theo Bacca on loan last season and they were very, very close, actually.
He was sensational first half, man. Absolutely sensational. But this is a big chance here for Man City.
Who are you saying is going to take it? I reckon KDB.
It's got to be Mahrez, left-footed zicking it in there, isn't it? I think that's a weird decision. Always think the left footer from that angle is better, because if it misses everyone, it sometimes goes in that far post.
The Hakim Ziyech sort of angle.
Yeah.
See where City's line is. Like, I reckon City are just going to try and make they've got to get that line like 10 yards further up.
Yeah, they do.
This is a lot of space to leave KDB.
I don't think they anticipated PSG just being like
2 blocks, 4.
Well, we're going to leave our they weren't playing deep because I did say they were like quite content to be 10 yards. Well, like they're not playing deep, but they're not being coaxed out either, if you know what I mean.
They're playing so narrow, PSG. They're saying if you want to do anything, go wide, and then they're just hoping that City are going to cross the ball because they've got nobody in the box, City, at all.
Look where Verratti is there.
And like, look at
just covering back at that whole
who's
time.
in the box there for KDB whipping that ball across. There's only Phil Foden in the box, and he's on the edge of it. It's like this is a really smart game plan for PSG, but it's very hard to execute usually.
Do you know how nice it is to watch the game at the same time? This is lovely.
Welcome.
Oh God, get it out.
You know who
PSG.
might come on? Thinking about subs who might come on at some stage, who shone in the early stages of the Champions League, at least in terms of goal scoring, was Ferran Torres. He popped up with some crucial goals in the group stages. And before Christmas, he was, that false nine.
Kevin,
was
what have you
really
done
well.
there, Kev?
Maybe we'll see Ferran Torres at some stage, but we've got Mbappe on the run once again.
Yeah, look, there's Walker with that recovery pace.
Superb.
That
exactly
is my Kyle
why
Walker. It's my starting right back for the Euros.
Yeah, but Southgate are playing at right centre back, weren't they?
We can't play 5 at the back, surely.
God, hope not. Pray no. City started the second half better, by the way. City have started the second half much, much better.
100%.
Look how deep Gundogan is.
Look at this. There's a lot more space immediately for City. I don't know what Pep's tweaked, but
look how much further Kyle Walker's committed there.
Yeah.
I don't think we saw a lot of that in the first half.
PSG don't mind this though. It's little passes in front of that back 8, like.
Yeah, there's still no one to deal with. Who's back in Kimpembe, Marquinhos? They're coasting in this.
Yeah, there's nobody in the box. Look.
Oh, lovely from Cancelo. Nice.
Get up, Cancelo, man. Get up. It's embarrassing. Get up. You're embarrassing yourself.
Loves it as well,
Get
man.
up.
The difficulty is with this second half is, I don't know about you guys, but I personally, this might be a critically curse. I don't really get back Gabby Jesus to come on and make the difference. I know he had that exceptional game against, I think it was Real Madrid in the Bernabeu last year. But for me, Gabby Jesus hasn't quite emerged as the player that I thought he was going to be 3 years ago.
I said he was going to be better than Mbappe in a video. So I think I'm fully in the mud. Don't worry about his lack of aggression.
One of my favourite clips that he's so confident as he says it. But I actually I think he's still an underrated striker. I think he's vastly underappreciated. Like, he's a guy who's still gonna if he comes on, I would back him to have a big moment. Like, he gets generally 3 shots off in the box per night, like in the box per night. Like, he is someone that is good at making something out of nothing in that regard. And if both fullbacks were on song tonight and making loads of chances, he might be guilty of wasting a couple of opportunities. But they need a bit of inventiveness or creativity. I actually disagree. I think I'd throw him on. They
need someone in the box. They've got no one in the box at the moment. Like,
I agree with you.
Just forcing them wide.
I agree with you. I think he's a very good all-round player, and I think he'll carry on playing top-level clubs. I think maybe it comes with age, maybe it comes with a bit more experience. Maybe he hasn't started, 20, 25 games in a row yet. But I don't think he's that sort of lethal finisher just yet. Whereas I saw him play a game on the wing a couple of months ago. I can't remember who it was. But he was a really good running threat. He picks up good positions. I just want a bit more from Gabby.
Verratti there, by the way, bite into that tackle. He is class, Verratti, man. What a footballer. Seriously.
Yeah.
City have started the second half so much better. Much better. PSG looked like they're getting deep already.
Yeah. So nearly went to Barcelona a few years ago, Verratti. I mean, what a signing he'd have been for Barcelona in 2017, I think he was talked about.
That was pretty much what, the first 50 episodes of Sunday Vibes where we're talking about. We're talking about Verratti to Barcelona.
Really?
Yeah, we just turned out that opinion every single week.
And we stand by it to this day, mate. He'd have been unreal there. But that was really nice by João Cancelo.
They look much calmer on the ball.
Much better by City. Just spreading the play, patient. This is how they are brilliant in the Premier League when they're just picking teams apart.
Yeah, look how advanced Rodrigo is there as well.
That's quality by Di Maria. That's unreal by Di Maria. So good, Angel.
That's the foot in.
Love it, Angel.
He doesn't mind being kicked,
He'll be down
Angel.
for
Put his leg where it
as
hurts.
well. He's so soft, Angel Di Maria. He is the softest footballer.
He plays the ref well, but I think he's actually quite, I think he's quite brave.
Yeah, but mate,
but he'll just go down for ages.
He is a coward. Look, he'll be
We
down.
just clearly
He'll
don't
still
agree.
be on the
You
floor
hate
when they
him.
cut out this picture. He's just got up, look, joke, man. But equally, like, what a baller. So talented. He's got an engine like nobody else as well. By the way, we haven't had any of that popping issue so far. Scale to inner bounds has worked absolutely beautiful for us.
Get in there. That's been the real man of the match, mate.
Yeah, that really has. Scale to inner bounds.
To inner bounds.
Stick that. Let's get that man of the match in his hands right now. That Aussie bloke who did the tutorial.
Oh dear. Oh, fine.
I don't see much of Neymar first 8 minutes.
Love that, Gundogan. Getting beyond his man. That's the first time that's happened. Go, go, City. Oh my God. Cancelo's 1-for-1 with Florenzi. Roast him.
There's just no one in the box. Like that's not what they want to be doing. Surely the plan is not to get wide and deliver dink balls into fucking Foden.
Not
especially on his weak foot as well.
That was never ever a foul by Rodri. Never ever a foul. He's just stronger than Neymar there.
That was rogue.
Never a foul.
Oh, he does have a bit of his shirt.
He's got some of his as well.
So does Neymar.
Yeah, I mean, it's equal, isn't it?
Not something that plays up to Tomlinson's sensibilities there.
No, he's got...
I love a bit of shirt grabbing.
He did really well
I've
there,
always lacked pace. Love a bit of shirt grabbing.
He did really well. This is much better by PSG, though. Even the press is more intense. Struggling to get out.
Do you mean
of
Man City?
By City, sorry. Yeah, the PSG struggling to get out much more than they were first half.
A little bit more 4-4-2 out of possession. Like, look how high KDB is now.
Mm-hmm.
Bernardo Silva.
They just look like they've got more energy, which is weird considering it's the second half. They just look much more sprightly. There's more intensity without the ball. Yeah, look, I felt like at times they were kind of sleeping.
See how wide Foden is there out of possession as well. It just looks a bit more like he's just gone, yeah, let's not try and defend in this.
I'm snapping into tackles, though. This is like Verratti and Paredes has been brilliant, man, first.
That's the ball we want. For them, KDB.
Watch Neymar get foul here.
Foden, like,
yeah, but
I'm just not sure who they're whipping the ball into. Who are they whipping the ball into?
But they're picking up the second balls, isn't it? You want Gundogan or Foden picking up those second balls. Like, if you smash that front post and it just cannons off someone, that's where City come alive.
I don't know. I'm starting to think
if that's the plan, I think Gabby has to come on the pitch. If the plan is to get... Oh, Neymar!
That is cheeky.
Oh, Mbappe's in.
He played on.
Uh-oh.
Well played, Ruben.
He's beaten him. He's ended him.
John.
He's ended him again.
No,
oh, what chance! Oh, my God. Mbappe's got John Stones on butter on toast. John Stones versus Mbappe then. Good Lord. Oh, millimetres from Verratti.
He's so good.
Was it ever in doubt that he was going to get across his man and ball in?
Mbappe there. Stones versus Mbappe was a mismatch.
Good advantage from the ref. Good advantage.
It was outrageous. The move to start that whole counter by Neymar, the little back heel, was just audacious. Come on then. This is where PSG come alive, these set pieces. City looked a bit vulnerable first half, set pieces. It's another one.
You know what you could already... 56 minutes in, you could already make a sort of 5-minute clip of Neymar just like close control to some music, which I'm sure will be over on Twitter about 10:20 this evening. His manipulation of the ball in certain areas, there's just no one really like him.
No, there isn't. Just the best like dribbler of a football, isn't it?
It's just outrageous.
Like obviously Messi's.
João, come on, mate. You're better than that.
I wish I watched more Spanish football like week in, week out when it was Messi, Suarez, Neymar.
Yeah, big regret.
Big regret.
The MSN was at points high.
You were too busy watching Lee Cattermole, Darren Gibson.
Yeah. Sebastian Larsson, the lads.
Man,
Manal
Asamoah
Mohammed.
Cheyenne. That was the glory. That was the glory era, wasn't it?
That was.
Post-war anyway.
Yeah, just after World War One was our peak, really.
John Backer's done a great job on Mahrez stopping him coming on that left because it's easier said than done. It is so hard to stop, man, doing that.
Yeah, he's been in such good form last 2-3 months, hasn't he?
Yeah, Mbappe, get that ball back. Idrissa Gueye, though. Brilliant, Idrissa.
He's there. Even if it didn't lead to a tackle, like he just stopped it dead. I'd be interested to know how many tackles Ghana Gueye's done so far.
I'm telling you, this ref's not having it. That was definitely a foul.
It is better from City though, but
better.
without still we haven't seen that real clear-cut opportunity.
Can't be long before Sterling comes on, can it? Can't be long.
I think it's got to happen. Or Gabriel Jesus as well. There needs to be a bit more movement in behind. They do look much more comfortable on the ball, but it's still a little bit too easy for my liking.
And they are getting
a lot quicker.
They are getting more advanced up the pitch, which is ideal for Mbappe. Like Mbappe is just hovering ominously.
Lovely ball, Rodrigo.
That's better. Di Maria though, look how good Di Maria is. Look how good he is.
That's so crucial. Di Maria is.
Yeah,
really,
oh my God, Di Maria! Oh my God!
Really helped Florenzi out, hasn't he?
So much so.
The ball from Di Maria there.
Right in, and then Cancelo versus Di Maria. At the moment, Di Maria is winning it every time.
Yeah, so it's a mismatch.
The need to see more from João Cancelo. He's been so good in the league.
The ball was so good into Mbappe. So unfortunate that it didn't come off. Ederson was so high. Paredes and Gueye have been so disciplined. They've just not left that box once, have they?
Please, can you guys show the game? No, we'll get shut down, guys. I'm Adam. Sorry, brother.
That's poor by Neymar. It's unlike him, that.
Akeem Ludford, show the game. Thangal Vualnam, 100 minutes behind, laughed my ass off. Yeah, well, that's...
Blame Hamill. Blame Chris
Sky
Hamill.
go out to thank for that. Believe it or not, I'm actually not, in control.
Stop reading the chat because you're going to see a spoiler, Hamill. Get that chat gone.
You guys can watch the goals go in, make a cup of tea, come back, and then we'll react.
Exactly. If anything, yeah, you get to watch us react. It builds the anticipation.
Yeah. Oh, I've got a feeling there's going to be a couple more goals in this as well.
Mahrez has been off it today for his usual self as well. Like he's been so deadly
60
recently.
minutes. I think it's time for changes. Got to give Raheem Sterling a go. I think Gabriel Jesus as well. Who are you guys taking off? That's a more interesting discussion. I think Bernardo Silva.
I think Bernardo Silva has to come off for Sterling soon.
Maybe move KDB into the right of that midfield three.
Chance! Oh!
Things are starting to happen for City though. Like I don't think he'll try and it'll interrupt this flow.
True. Well, they are having that better 15-minute spell. Maybe in 5 minutes or so.
That's a great effort.
Oh, that would have been unreal. Oh, it's Cancelo off.
Cancelo off.
It's happened. Zinchenko is that we touched upon that, didn't we? At half
that
time?
Yellow card. That's about that yellow card there. That's a worry for Pep. Di Maria down this left-hand side. That touch by Neymar. My goodness, this guy's talent.
Well, I also slightly help on that left-hand side having Zinchenko a natural left footer because we've seen Cancelo, wait and delay rather than sometimes beating his man first time.
Yeah, I didn't think he'd been very good at all today.
A bit slow.
João Cancelo. He struggled.
It's just another big tactical fouls he's effectively brought on as well, isn't it? Like, with a lot of these moves, these balls to Mbappe, you want to just kill it at source, and he's just going to say to Zinchenko, like, if anything materialises, just absolutely wipe out Di Maria.
Yeah, Kings of the tactical foul as well, City, aren't they?
Oh, big time.
Still though,
the
quality of the game is just a joy to watch, isn't it? Like it's so on edge. Like the actual level of football is unreal, man. And it was
You're kind of waiting for one slip, one loss of concentration or something.
It was the same in the Bayern game, wasn't it? Like every game PSG are involved in, the quality level is so high, like that.
And it's also just it leaves you because you know what they've got going forward with that threat in terms of pace. Like every moment just feels nerve-wracking, even when Man City are attacking, which just makes PSG games just so fun to watch.
Yeah, like Mbappe is just so scary, man. Foden struggled to have an impact on this one, sadly.
Yeah.
Hasn't quite been himself, but it's maybe down to PSG being brilliant as well.
He's got 2 changes to use in half an hour. The thing that's annoying about that Cancelo yellow, because even though he's played poorly, I don't think Pep would have probably taken him off.
Di Maria.
Florenzi as well in the build-up to that. It was straight on Phil Foden. Like Florenzi has done a good job at man marking Foden effectively.
Look at this. That press is brilliant by PSG. All 3 of the central midfielders came across in tight block there. Like Idrissa Gueye was almost a right winger at times there.
That's poor. Go on. Nice.
There's a chance.
It's just so confusing when you watch this level of performance from PSG. I just struggled to work out how they've lost 8 Ligue 1 games.
Here's a chance. This they got out brilliantly.
Oh, KDB needs to make the run across the front.
This is where they have to have a striker. I can't believe there's not a striker on the field here.
That's a good ball from Walker.
I can't believe there's not a number 9 on the field here for that sort of.
That's almost as gilt-edged as the Mbappe one that Verratti nearly got on the end of. Like that was a very similar ball across the face of the box. I'd rank that as just as good a chance.
Right, let's get something from this. Got to get a ball in.
What is going on?
Especially with Stones and Diaz there. Go on, here we go.
Oh, it's a goal! It's gone in!
It's curled in from De Bruyne!
Who needs a striker? You're scoring goals!
Just a complete accident from PSG. The ball's just gone over the top. No one's touched it, and De Bruyne has curled it in from quite a central position.
Whew. What a terrible goal to concede if you're PSG. What an awful goal to concede if you're PSG.
Such an ugly corner as well.
Correct.
Such an ugly corner.
Yeah, so it's good defensive line there. No one really arrived
at the back post. Where's Navas off?
John Stones might have done just enough there.
Mate, what's
it's
Navas
difficult
doing?
To blame Navas. That's curling in. I don't know. If that gets any touch, Navas is in the perfect position.
That's whiff from Navas.
I
don't know about that. I think that's curled in. I think that's just unfortunate.
I'm not going to say City deserve it, but they've definitely been the better team in this second half. And they've been
no doubt.
15 minutes. So this makes it more interesting.
I agree, they've definitely been the better team second half, man.
You know when I said in the first half, I hope PSG don't sit off as a result of taking a relatively early lead. I feel like a little bit of that has happened in the second half.
Yeah, I agree.
Another
not been as good second half. PSG definitely not been as good.
Not quite the same intensity, has it? But just another massive goal from KDB. He's just been so crucial to them, not just this season, but over the years as well. I was reading up about when they played PSG last in the Champions League and went through in the quarterfinals in 2015-16. I think De Bruyne got a goal in each leg, including an awesome goal at the Parc des Princes then as well. So just such a clutch player.
Yeah.
Look at him. Off he goes again.
I think PSG are going to shit the bed.
They are hugely notorious wobblers, and I always say this in the group chat that PSG are the biggest bottlers in world football, and everybody always batters me for it.
I mean,
dear me, what a terrible goal to concede.
In your opinion, then, boys. Apart from we've established they're sitting off, how could they impact this game positively? Then PSG is it a matter of subs? Is it a matter of just being a little bit braver in possession?
I don't think they've lost obviously control of the ball this half entirely. Haven't been pressing City as intently, I think, but Man City have just scored, I would say, quite a fortuitous goal. And they still haven't created very much. So I think this game is still wide open. But yeah, maybe a little. You could bring on Sarabia, maybe you could bring on Moise Kean, but I'd kind of stick with how they're doing. They just need to get back that rhythm that they had in the first half.
I reckon Moise Kean will come on pretty soon. I think the thing is like I agree with Dougie. Like City have definitely come out the better side second half, but they've not been creating bucket loads of chances. Like the goal is a sheer fluke, isn't it? It's like a hit and hope cross, and Navas has whiffed one. But I think PSG will still be fairly comfortable. Like they won't be panicking.
It's not a clanger from Navas, but
I just think he's got to go with the ball in there.
It always just looks horrendous.
Getting a little bit on it, but I don't know. It's not a clanger, but yeah, maybe he could have got across a little bit quicker. But
it's not as if there's City players piling across the line of the ball though.
I think Gundogan's really stepped up in this half. He's held onto the ball so much better. I mean, all the Man City players have. They just look much calmer. They looked a little rattled in the first half, as Joe kept on saying. They just look so composed, and Idrissa Gueye and Paredes haven't had quite the same impact in terms of getting their foot in. It's been well, there we have it. Walker gives it away.
That was good by PSG though. That whole press, then they just City just had nowhere to go, just constantly down like blind alleyways. This is where PSG have struggled, playing out from the back. They've really struggled to get the ball into their front line quickly enough. The ball is continuously being banded around and they're forced to go long. That's what wasn't happening first half. It's
quite interesting that we're 68 minutes in. You know who's kind of had the quietest game on either side is probably Mbappe.
He's been silent, mate.
Hasn't really been.
Now he's injured.
There's always one or two one-on-ones, and now he looks like he's hobbling off. But Man City are on the attack into Foden. Yeah, no, slow down again. But yeah, Mbappe's been nullified quite effectively, particularly this second half.
I know you said you were talking about it sort of figuratively, well, not even figuratively. You were saying the performances have stepped up from the likes of Gundogan and Rodri, but they've literally stepped up 10 yards.
Yeah.
It looked like KDB was just isolated, was trying to fill a huge void in the first half, while Gundogan and Rodri shielded them from like an onslaught. And now, look, they're playing literally in PSG's third with relative ease. Like the press, that intensity's gone. What a good place to win a free kick.
He didn't need to make that tackle. He didn't need to make that tackle then, Idrissa Gueye, because City were just going nowhere. It was just being passed around left to right without any sort of penetration. It's just such a dumb tackle to make by Paredes. It's like a moment of madness because the ball was just going absolutely nowhere.
I think you're right. They've been so much braver in where they've like set up their attacks. They were setting them up from 40 metres out in the first half. Now they've got them camped in their own sort of third for the last 10 minutes or so.
Why has he made that challenge, Idrissa Gueye? It's so poor by Idrissa Gueye, man.
This is great position for both Mahrez and KDB on this as well.
Yeah.
Euro Football Daily's in the chat. What's going on? Is that one of you? Is that you?
Is it Sonny? No.
Get out of the chat, hamster, because you're going to see a spoiler and it's going to annoy me and I'm going to have to go back to real time. Get out of the chat.
What do you mean? I'm not engaging with our subscribers, mate. How dare you? That's got to be McCubs in the chat. It's got to be McCubs. McCubs loves a rogue move like this.
Oh, massive. What a great
huge chance this is for Mahrez, man.
Do you think it'll be Mahrez? I think it might be KDB up and down on that.
Surely a left footer here, no?
Right, I'm out of the chat, by the way. Everyone, I can sense that. I can sense that there were fireworks in the chat approaching. So
I love Gundogan trying to get involved on this as well. You've got no chance, mate. This is Mahrez, or I think it's got to be KDB.
It's got to be Mahrez, man. Has to be Mahrez.
I'm going Mahrez.
Go! What a strike! What a goal!
The 3-1 is on. The 3-1 is on. Come on, Riyadh.
Some massive, massive moments he stepped up for in the last 2 months, but none bigger than that. A second away goal at the Parc des Princes with a beautiful free kick. Oh no, it's gone through the wall.
Worst wall you've ever seen.
Actually gone through the wall.
So bad by Kimpembe.
Paredes and Kimpembe right through the midriff.
Oh,
even good pass. Still great free kick. What a turnaround from Man City.
What is the wall doing? Paredes, you bottle job. Paredes and Kimpembe, you pair of bottle jobs.
But it's only going hip height. It's not as if they was going to hit them in a private place. That is just not good enough. That's a really poor wall.
Oh!
I was just catching up on the chat. The guys did try and ruin it for us, but I was absent, so...
Good.
That is...
what a turnaround.
That's Riyadh.
Dougie, what were you saying about our predictions at half time?
11 goals in all competitions this season for Manchester City. Like, he's really entering form at an important time of the season, isn't he?
Classic PSG man, bottling it.
He's a sublime footballer, and I feel like in his first, how long has he been there? Is this his third year at Man City? Like, he was always a key part of the squad, but it was probably Sterling and Sane in front of him. And then last year, inconsistent. This year, I feel like in the last 2-3 months, Mahrez has been absolutely phenomenal. Man of the match on Sunday in the Carabao Cup final. Crucial goal here. All of Man City's side have just stepped up so much in this second half.
I don't think Mahrez has played very well today. I think this has been one of the poorer performances I've seen from him for a while, but it's just moments of magic he's capable of, isn't it? There's like electric moments where he scores a screamer or free kick.
That left foot.
Yeah, it's an interesting transition he's made. I never thought when he left Leicester.
How's he brought that down,
vested interest in him that he did that straight away. It was a proper rewiring job, even though it cost 68 million, 70 million. Like, Pep definitely had to rewire him, didn't he, to play in this system. Like, he's never been a guy that would cover for his fullback naturally, but yeah, he's put in a defensive shift as well. They're pressed well in this second half.
I feel it's amazing how comfortable Diaz and Stones have been in this second half, largely, except for that moment where Mbappe got past Stones and got that crossing, which was a great chance. We haven't seen Neymar pick up the ball in the same positions as in the first half. And this has been a very, very solid second half performance in this first 30-odd minutes.
Europe's biggest bottlers. Can't shake the tag, won't shake the tag.
It's definitely not done. I feel like 2-1... Yeah, they can score an away goal at the Etihad, no problem.
Oh, was that yellow for Neymar?
He scored 2, though.
Yeah, they do need to score 2. I think it'll be fine.
I didn't see it.
Diaz is making the most of it. But bit of taste of your own medicine if you're Neymar, because you're doing that every 5 minutes.
Oh, it's petulant from Neymar. It's definitely not enough. It's not enough to send a 15-stone Ruben Diaz to the ground, but...
I've seen nothing of Neymar second half, by the way. Absolute silent.
Yeah, it's been Di Maria really by himself.
They've just cut it off at source, haven't they? City have just... Pep Guardiola just said, like, why are we starting from so deep? Like, giving Neymar the space to run at you. It's just not happened. Look, they're at it again, just comfortably knocking it round in PSG's final third. Or defensive third, even.
Yeah, man.
Playing so KDB.
Verratti's also gone really quiet second half.
Oh,
how's Foden getting heads on the ball now?
It's been. I feel like Man City were so timid in that first half. They were almost so worried about that counter-attacking threat that, like Chris said, they set up far too deep. Whereas this half, they've been like, we're Man City. Well, we've been by far the best team in England. We're one of the best sides in Europe. And what we're good at, we're good at retaining possession and creating opportunities by dominating the ball in the final third. And they've just gone out there and taken the initiative in this game. And they now fully deserve their lead.
Absolutely, Diggs. Well said. Well said.
The first goal was a bit lucky. The first goal was a bit lucky, but still, they've dominated the second half.
I understand that you don't want City to win because you're a United fan, but come on. There's some deeply unlikable teams left in the Champions League at current, and I just want the team who play the best football to win the competition at this point, and that is Manchester City.
Wow, what a load of rubbish. What a load of rubbish.
Who plays better football than City?
City play the best football, but that has no bearing on who I want to win the Champions League at all. Would you want Rangers to win the Champions League from this position if they played the best football in it?
If Rangers were playing the best football in Europe, I would have to seriously consider my position as a fan.
Such nonsense, man. Such nonsense.
What do you mean, Manchester? The City rivalry was so secondary to the Liverpool rivalry for under Ferguson. Like, it's not even a rivalry you took seriously until they got money. I feel like sometimes I don't understand the vitriol from United fans towards City, but I do from City to United. Isn't it? It is.
Oh, that's an awful tackle by Idrissa Gueye. He's already been booked, hasn't he? Idrissa Gueye got booked a minute ago, didn't he? That's an awful challenge by Idrissa Gueye. That's vile. And he knows exactly what he's doing as well.
I mean, I do fully understand why you don't want City to win, and I am just trying to wind you up to an extent. But I'm also willing to roll with my own argument now that you should want the team playing the best football to win said competition.
That's an awful tackle.
You feel like having watched most of this leg and most of the Real Madrid Chelsea leg, the favourite in the final, it's probably quite an obvious thing to say, is red card.
Yeah, rightly so. It's horrendous. Honestly, it's horrendous. I knew it was horrendous as soon as it happened. From behind, halfway up his shin.
That is so big for the second leg as well. They're going to have to pay Danilo Pereira, who's an absolute oil tanker.
Praises. Holy... They've got Parade. Yeah, did you say they've got Parade together as well?
That is awful.
Yeah, but they've got Danilo Pereira who'll have to play the second leg unless they they could play Ander Herrera as well. But Danilo Pereira has the turning circle of the Titanic.
He's actually played okay centre half though, hasn't
he? I think he's been really good at centre half when he was stepping in against Bayern. But that is a big mistake from Idrissa Gana Gueye.
Because Marquinhos can very easily play 6. He's great in that position as well. Put Danilo at centre half, but yeah, I agree. That's huge over the complexion of the two legs. And Paredes on a yellow, Neymar on a yellow. All of a sudden, PSG on ice.
More worrying is Gundogan actually looks quite hurt by this as well. Maybe he's all right.
He'll be all right. He's practically got steel legs, hasn't he? How many surgeries has he had to go through? Bless him.
Yeah. Okay, lads, they've got 12 minutes. They've got to get a third away goal here. Finish it.
Yeah, horrific tackle. Could quite easily have snapped his leg in half there. That actually was reminiscent of the Henrik Larsson one in 1999. Foot fully planted, back of the calf. His shin pad could have exploded there. Someone saying, "Can't hear you, Joe." Paul Arancibia.
Not seen Mbappe touch the ball last 10 minutes.
There he is. He's back. Yeah,
I was on mute. Sorry, I was blowing my nose. I was on mute. But I've not seen Mbappe touch the ball last 10 minutes. It's the ultimate bottle job from PSG here. It's all gone wrong.
Dude, you've called it. Danilo's coming on.
Yeah, I worry about Danilo, to be fair. Maybe he'll be fine in the
This is the worst thing. The whole of Twitter is just, it's very Pochettino-esque.
That's so unfair.
Man. Chokesville. This is like the Battle of the Bridge, mate. This is the Battle of the Bridge. Choking again.
Oh, I knew it'd be you.
It's such a weird narrative how it just comes down to being that. People, English football fans in particular, have such a they fetishize the manager position. It's fetishize.
Joe, we've just seen it come up on screen there. We might as well quickly mention it. Roma versus Man United. Confident?
No.
They are pumped. Did you see the Roma fans today?
And also, United are just playing such garbage football at the moment, man. We get so many good results, but we play just totally reliant on Bruno or Rashford just producing
that draw against Leeds was not good.
No, mate. It's not been good for a while.
Dude, how I don't know how up to date you are with Serie A, but how are Roma doing? Because it wasn't long ago that people were talking about Paulo Fonseca losing his job, and I've always rated Paulo Fonseca very high.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird one. I think
they came to an agreement with Sarri today, didn't they?
Yeah, they're out of. I think they are looking at Sarri. I don't know whether. Yeah, I didn't actually know that was completely sealed.
It hasn't been officially announced, but I saw Fabrizio saying that they've agreed. It might not have been Fabrizio, but a lot of Italian media outlets were saying that they've come to an agreement with.
That's a strange one, man. If I was, I would snap Fonseca up. I
think he'll get another top job for sure. They're out of the Champions League spaces, and it looks like they're not going to qualify. They've been really, really poor in the bigger games in Serie A. They got absolutely battered by Lazio.
Class by City. They're picking PSG apart here.
I don't think they've really taken a point from any of the top 6, really. Don't quote me on that. So, yeah, Fonseca, maybe they just felt that Sarri was going to take them a bit further. But they've also got a very old squad as well. Very imbalanced. So, we'll see.
They're missing Smaldini. He's been injured for a while, hasn't he? But City are just picking PSG apart now with the extra man in that midfield. I would take Neymar or Mbappe off personally. I'd take one of those two off because Neymar's just.
Lads, we were calling for Sterling. We were calling for Gabby Jesus. Still, the only change, if I'm not mistaken, is Zinchenko.
Yeah. I still think Gabby Jesus will have an impact, or Sterling in this game. The amount of times that City have got to the byline and put balls across, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna live and die by XG, I'm sure it would reflect that City's chances were fairly poor quality. Like, they are fortuitous to be in this position.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Pep can take any credit for any tactical genius here.
No, they've just taken more of the initiative. They've just been brave on the ball. But yeah, as you say, the first one from KDB, that sort of cross that went in, and then the Mahrez free kick shouldn't have ever gone through the wall, let alone gone in. Don't know what Keylor Navas was doing for that either. He didn't cover himself in glory for either goal. But I think it's just been slightly limp from PSG in this second half. I've been a bit disappointed. I feel like Di Maria's probably been their outstanding player in this second half, and they've lost a little bit of bite, maybe.
Oh, here comes Ander Herrera as well. Sums it up.
Stick Ander Herrera on KDB.
They're all over the place at PSG. They're all absolutely all over the gaff. A decision from Idrissa Gana Gay is just an absolute head loss, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it wasn't even close, was it?
It's going nowhere either.
It wasn't even contentious.
Like, Ilkay Gundogan back to goal. It's so dumb, man. But second half, they've just offered very little, PSG. Like, Mbappe's been so quiet.
Yeah.
I mean, if City even had any... They had the Foden header, right? Apart from the two set pieces, have they had any shots from open play?
What's Neymar doing? Neymar's losing it.
I don't really remember one. I still think the best City chance was that one from Foden in the first half, where he shot straight at Keylor Navas. It's just been a really weird, possession-based game. But even PSG, they haven't tested Ederson that much. It's been really high quality, but without that many good chances.
Nice.
See, when they get in these positions, though, and they don't have a striker on the pitch, it's just so much more difficult to make anything happen.
Why is Rodri...
Foden's taken up a bit more... Oh! Okay, there's an effort. Not great. Foden's taken up a bit more of a 9 position, hasn't he, this half? And KDB's dropped off a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm still surprised by this lack of changes. I feel like...
that's outrageous, Kylian Mbappe.
Oh, okay, here we go. We were saying he hasn't had a quiet half. Oh, that's poor pass, though.
Nice touch, but he's just struggling, Mbappe. There's too much of a gap between him and the midfield. And usually it's like Neymar filling that void, isn't it? But Neymar's been nowhere to be seen second half.
You said it might have been a gamble, Joe, bringing that defensive line out a little bit. And I suppose they just back Kyle Walker, don't they? Just to catch him still.
Also,
his powers of recovery.
When they're in this much possession, they're happy to bring that line 10 yards up. They have no worries. Look how deep Mbappe's having to come. You can be...
Yeah, because they've still got to break a second press, haven't they, to get the ball to Mbappe. So it's...
Nice.
Man City look like they've tired them as well. There's just not that much...
Zinchenko's had a big impact.
Energy around their press. It's so easy for Gundogan just to pick up.
What a PSG
but
doing
we
at the
don't.
back.
Oh, hello. We don't anticipate I think as fans, obviously we get a bit giddy and a bit ahead of ourselves. But even City 1-0 down, they, like you said, dude, they're the most patient side in Europe. We saw it last week against Tottenham in the EFL Cup final. They're so good at just chipping away, aren't they?
I think they just back their style of play just to eventually exhaust the opposition and chances will come. Oh, what's happened here?
It's not red, is it? Yellow.
No, sending them away. The whole of Paris is surrounding the ref here, though. Come on.
The ref's militant, though. Get out of it.
It's just a yellow. He's gone top pocket, hasn't he? Yeah, fine.
It's very Barcelona-esque the way they get around that ref early doors. Remember Barcelona of the Pep era?
Oh, yeah.
No, it's nasty, but it's a yellow.
How are you trying to appeal that for a red card? That's a joke. I suppose they'll try anything at this stage.
Look at KDB. He knows they're trying to get him sent off. He needs to be careful. If I was Pep, I'd be tempted to hook KDB.
I want another goal for Man City, and then I think I shouldn't say it, but
tie over if they score a third away goal, mate. 100%.
80%. There could be an Mbappe hat trick. I don't know. Something weird could happen, but yeah, I think it's pretty much tie over if they get the other goal. And they still haven't created that many chances, even against 10 men. Maybe they're just happy with the 2 away goals. Maybe they're worried about the threat on the counter. Fair enough. But I think there's an opportunity here.
They're all over Neymar like a shot. He can't get out of it. Foden's
Here
drifting past
Foden.
people like he's Messi. Oh my God.
Straight at the keeps again, man.
He is silly at points, Phil Foden.
He was like going past people like he was Messi there.
Yeah, it's the close control, isn't it? It's like it's the way it sticks to that left peg.
He can move it so quickly from foot to foot, and from he just changes the position of the ball so easily, and he's surprisingly quick as well.
Obviously, people have touched upon it pretty extensively now as well, but just the way he receives it, like he's already gone. It's just
that's better, Neymar.
That's like it's one of those rare things where he can travel so quickly with it, but he's got it under control. Like and sometimes with Raheem Sterling, like you don't get that, do you? You don't get that like sense of he's got it 100% under control.
Yeah, there's always a bit of a
side he's going to take on the
That's
whole
not
team
digging
now.
Sterling. I'm just saying that because he's actually occupying that position now. But
what is he doing
go on,
there?
Mahrez, got on your bike. Oh,
no. Rodri.
I was about to say Rodri's had a decent second half. He just gives it away.
Oh, come on, guys! Don't be
Put it
giving
in the
away
box.
free kicks. You've got 4 minutes left, probably. Oh, that is an error. Marquinhos is good in the air.
I actually think, I mean, given that he didn't have a particularly scintillating first half, you'd say that Mahrez is probably edging City's man of the match at the moment.
It's a good shout. I don't know who that man of the match is, actually. Yeah,
it's tight, isn't it? There hasn't been any particular standout, really.
KDB, maybe.
Mahrez has worked hard in the second half. Like they've been very good in that where back has tried to defend. Like they've kept possession very well there. I
still think Verratti's been
the
Verratti's been the best player on the pitch. Him or Di Maria, but yeah.
Yeah, now they've lost. It's difficult.
City being smart here, a bit of experience going on.
It was a bit like that Chelsea performance last night. Like most of the Chelsea starting 11 played pretty well. Without, I think Kante was very good, but wasn't necessarily the best game I've ever seen Kante play. But he was very good. A bit like this City performance, like this City second half, they've been very solid.
Okay, they
still keeps hold of it.
City second leg, I feel like you're going to pick PSG apart as well with the advantage. You can't play as badly as they did first 45. Second half, can they? Yeah. Second leg, sorry.
It's a really, really impressive result considering how poor they were in the first half. You're right. Like they were nowhere in that first half, and they've made PSG look fairly average in this second half. Albeit they have had a one-man advantage for the last 10, 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that really took the sting out of the game, didn't it?
I'd like to see Man City create one more chance.
It's good. I feel like there's a chance coming for City. They're working the ball nicely.
4 minute stoppage time for sure.
They're working the ball lovely here. Oh, it's so rushed by Rodri. Why is he rushing that in there?
Yeah.
Gundogan was free as well, just to his left.
That's where Fernandinho is still top dog, isn't it? That final ball, passing into the box.
Get up, Neymar, man. He's so soft.
You've got 3 minutes, Neymar. Get on your tootsies, mate.
Get up, man.
Oh, right. Let's jump into the comments, see what people are saying.
You're going to see spoilers.
Drop me a line, guys. I know the match is probably finished by now, but still.
We're 2 minutes behind.
We're 50 seconds behind most people, according to the comments. Pep Guardiola is overrated, great coach, but definitely not a GOAT. Wow. I mean, where do we start with that?
What a timing.
Great timing, isn't it? Horrible.
That must have been. He must have set that on a timer. He must have sent it at half time.
Lovely floated ball in that. Walker's been good second half, man.
Yeah. Walker is just solid.
totally justified his place in the starting lineup, hasn't he? With like Cancelo not being right back and Zinchenko not starting and stuff. But like
Verratti just took his boot off to take a free kick. It's what the state of this guy, man. What a baller.
why does that make him a baller?
It's just outrageous, isn't it? He is so good, man.
He did just hit a nice like 10.
Yeah, that was like he got his pitching wedge out.
Back has gone to fuck second half, by the way. Bloke fell off a cliff. He was so good first 30. He's really struggling back at this second half, man. Deary me.
It's annoying that a game of this quality, which has had good moments in the midfield, I don't think it's been like neither side have been at their creative best. He says while Neymar's on the attack.
What has he done?
He's probably going to be remembered for like a really poor piece of defending from a free kick. Like
and also a terrible goal. Like the other goal was awful.
Yeah, but I still don't understand what Kimpembe and Paredes were doing in that free kick in that wall.
Shameful, mate.
It went in off their midriff. They just created a hole for the ball.
Absolutely shameful bit of defending, honestly.
It was cowardly. Uh-oh.
Nah, it's class defending by Ruben Dias and Mbappe getting a lesson.
I think him and Stones have actually been very solid tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Apart from
Definitely,
that,
man.
There's always going to be moments when you're going to get embarrassed by Mbappe. Like that little incident was at the end of the first half, Dukes, when he put like Diaz was on his arse behind John Stones.
Yeah, I think that was just start of the second. Yeah.
Start of the second, yeah.
That was.
Yeah, you can't stop that. Like you have to just accept that Neymar and Mbappe are going to humiliate you at least once in this game.
Yeah.
So you've just got to get the other eight times right.
We got a comment from Cormac Golding. Which player has disappointed you the most, boys?
It's a good question.
Neymar.
It is such a weird one because goodness.
I think Neymar has.
Jesus.
He's had little good moments, but he's not really. He's not got hold of the game. Like he hasn't been as influential as he was in that second leg against Bayern, where he was just running the match.
I think in that first half though he was pretty solid. I'd probably say Mbappe to be honest. But then do you blame him when he's been starved of service? But then in that first half, I thought City were really poor. I thought Bernardo Silva, Foden was very quiet as well. So, I hate to use that old cliche, but
there we go, full time. Full time. Huge dub for Pep and City. That is a ginormous dub for Pep and City. Wow. Okay, we can go to the chat now. I'm going to open the chat back up. Let's get a few questions in then from the viewers about that one. 2-1. Mbappe went missing. Mbappe was shit. Mbappe was crap, the chat are saying. People not happy with Mbappe's performance. I didn't think he was that great, Dukes.
No, I didn't think he was either, to be honest. There was that moment that we were talking about just now where he sat Stones down. He ran the channels quite effectively, but the gaps between that midfield and attack that just didn't exist in that first half were just colossal in that second half. And so I don't just want to blame Mbappe. I think Neymar dropped off in that second half as well. And City just controlled possession and just, as we said in the start of that second half, just moved their play further up the pitch and just waltzed to a 2-1 win, which at half-time didn't look likely. So shout out Joe Tomlinson for getting his prediction right.
I have to say I did call the 2-1 Manchester City victory there. We got a few questions coming in from Discord. Brummy Scum, which is an interesting handle, says, what are your predictions for the next match? Is it dead and buried, or could PSG claw it back, Christopher?
Come on. Yeah, like they have to. It's not just the scoreline, is it? They have to play in a much more attacking manner. They can't even afford to be conservative away from home, and that's in the absence of their best defensive midfielder as well. I know Ander Herrera can come in with Idrissa Gueye. But yeah, trying not to get done by City on the counter when you have to be expansive without Idrissa Gueye doesn't spell comeback to me, but you'd be absolutely stupid to say Neymar is not capable of doing something, and then Mbappe can only play better than he has tonight.
Yeah, I have to say, I I thought Man City were pretty poor first 45. It was one of the worst performances that I've seen for them in quite some time, first 45 minutes. And PSG were fantastic. But, like, Man City, I just think second leg aren't going to be that poor 45 minutes again. So I don't see a way back into this tie for PSG. I think Man City are going to be quite comfortable second leg dudes. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I feel like they've definitely got the advantage, particularly with that red card. It'll be interesting. I think the key is kind of how much possession PSG can get into Verratti's feet in dangerous areas. Because in that second half, they then had to drop so deep, and it did just turn into a 3. Whereas in that first half, with that intensity of their press, they were winning the ball high up the pitch and just controlling the ball, using Neymar and Verratti as well. And then in the second half, we started seeing their fullbacks getting more exposed, which we didn't see in the first half at all. And Man City just have much better wingers than they do fullbacks, as we've known for years. So it's definitely not dead and buried, but that was a very tepid second half display from PSG.
Yeah, totally agree.
I think a great indication of how strong City finished that game, because I think it could have quite easily been 3-1. Danilo Pereira, 1 pass completed.
Rubbish football, that's why. Absolute pants football.
Well, that's not me just digging out Pereira, but they weren't even that PSG weren't even playing football second. I know,
but he does run in concrete boots, Danilo Pereira. To be fair, so when City are shifting the ball fast, he's always 30 seconds behind the game.
Well, it's just a little indication of how they might have to play. Basically, is what I'm building towards in the second leg with Danilo instant.
Sets up quite nicely for a question here for Discord. That one, Hamill. Stuart says, if you were Poch, what changes would you make for next week?
I think I said it earlier on in the game. Rather than bring Danilo into midfield, I'd maybe risk Marquinhos at 6 and just have Verratti and Herrera in there. Maybe Verratti and Paredes, or keep Marquinhos there and just play Herrera as that Idrissa Gueye replacement. Yeah, that's probably more sensible. I don't think you can vary it up too much. Who's on the bench for them tonight? Do you play Icardi if you desperately need a goal?
No.
Maybe.
No. I think Moise Kean's ahead of him in my reckoning.
You're right.
For probably starting in that PSG side. I think second leg, I wouldn't change loads if I was PSG. I would just bring that line 10 yards further up, because City aren't going to try and play over the top and in behind you. I think they just got too deep second half, PSG. In the first half, they were right on the halfway line, willing to play in little tight quarters alongside City. In the second half, for some reason, they just decided they were going to drop an awful lot deeper and let City have the ball, and I think it was massively to their detriment. Should we get another question then? What other ones have we got here? We've got loads of people asking us about Phil Foden, because obviously we were hyping Foden earlier. Capil Tank says, what do you think of Foden's performance today, Dukes?
Mixed. I think mixed. I think first half, Florenzi sort of controlled him pretty effectively. I didn't think he linked up particularly well with Kevin De Bruyne. I think he stayed a little bit too isolated out on the left, and Jair Cancelo didn't get much joy down that flank either. Second half, we saw glimpses as well. It was kind of a strange game in that I don't think, Man City really stepped up in the second half without any of their players playing at their best, probably. Their mentality is so impressive. We said it during the stream. In previous years, they concede gluts of goals. They switch off. They lose focus. We just didn't see that today. Even when they were dominated in that first half, they didn't ever really concede a glut of chances. PSG just had possession of the ball. And that second half was a monster performance from a side that were under real pressure at halftime. I thought they were really, really poor in that first half. It was such a weird game. It was a bizarre game, to be honest.
It was. I think 1-1 probably would have been a fair result in that game. I think a draw probably was the fair result. I think the free kick, obviously, is just like a bizarre goal, isn't it? It's such bad work from the wall. I just think
Bruyne goal was weird.
I just think 1-1 probably would have been a fair result, and it would have made the second leg a little bit more interesting. 2-1, 2 away goals. I don't see PSG scoring twice at the Etihad, and I think that's probably good night. I think Man City could go out second leg and win 2-3-0 quite comfortably.
Oh, what a big shout. I think it will probably still be a little bit closer than that. I just thought maybe PSG's players just couldn't sustain that energy we saw in the first half. Like the counter press was really good every time they lost it. They seemed to, like Verratti or Pereira seemed to pop up and win it back deep in the City half. Like it led to Kevin De Bruyne dropping deeper and deeper to pick the ball up, didn't it? And then all of a sudden, like Foden and Mahrez were there was no interchanging, no those intricate little passing movements. It was all like long diagonals or like reaching balls, and then they were just like, okay, in order to maybe snuff out like the PSG's counter press, we need to be braver and play 15, 20 yards further up the pitch, and then they did that. And it's like I was a bit disappointed that PSG didn't have a response for that. It was like, let's just leave Mbappe really far up the pitch, and and hope we can play it down the line to him. We saw that a few times with Di Maria, didn't we? Just breaking down the right, raking ball down the right, but. No, I didn't actually see much in the way of like coherent attacking play in the second half. No, I'm a bit disappointed.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I felt like the quality of the players on display should have produced better attacking output. Even though the game was really high quality, it did feel like the final third was a little bit void, especially for City. I don't think City really created an awful lot. I think I've just seen their XG on Twitter now. It's like 0.6 or something like that, which is low for a Man City performance, man. That's low. I think PSG was like 1.3, something like that. But that is not un-City-like, but I think second leg it's going to be an awful lot higher than that. I think Sterling might get a run out second leg, and PSG are going to have to commit way more men going forward because Mbappe was just so isolated. I didn't see him for 45 minutes. Second half, I didn't see Mbappe at all. Like he had that one little moment where he forced Stones on the back foot, but other than that, nowhere to be seen at all. Still created 4 chances though. I've just seen him online. Mbappe still created 4 chances, but
did he?
Yeah, because I tweeted now saying anyone seen Mbappe, PSG could have used him tonight. But equally, like obviously, just looking for a few nibbles,
provocative,
a few nibbles from PSG fans. But yeah,
I think they were all first half though. I think I can't remember him creating a shot.
It might have been that one for Verratti, but Verratti just couldn't quite get toe to. We've got a question.
That wouldn't have gone down. That wouldn't have gone down as a chance created though.
Colm on Twitter on Discord says, despite not being amazing tonight, are Mbappe and Neymar still the best duo in world football, Hamster?
I mean, to be regarded as like the best duo is what he's asking there is like, are those two the best guys like ability wise in world football? Yes, but are they the best duo? They were playing far too far apart to be regarded as a duo tonight, particularly in that second half. I didn't see a lot of interplay between them. Yeah, maybe for like 20 minutes they bounced off each other really well in the first half, but yeah, I mean the best duo I saw there tonight, I don't know. I'm looking at the lineup, like who played really well together. Like there was moments Gundogan.
Not even just tonight. I think they mean just in world football in general. Are they the best duo?
Yeah, and I'm just boiling it down, distilling it down to like tonight because the best duo. They're not a duo, are they? They're not like a little and large. They're not. That's what I'm trying to say. Like they weren't playing like a duo tonight. Yeah, I mean, yeah, great. The forward line on its day is still one of the best forward lines in world football. I don't. If that's what they want me to say.
All right, let's get some more questions from the YouTube chat then. What are we saying here? There's a few questions about the Europa League. Do we really care about the Europa League on this show when we're looking at PSG versus Manchester City? Do we think Poch is bottling this? Is it harsh to call it bottling? I feel like it is. Like, I love to stick the nail in on Football Daily's WhatsApp just because I know I'm going to wind up all the Spurs fans. But, like, if he doesn't get to a final of the Champions League and he doesn't win Ligue 1, questions?
Yeah, no, not for me. I feel like so much of the work was undone last summer. He came into a really difficult situation at PSG, not necessarily with the squad and talent available to him, but behind the scenes, it wasn't very happy with Leonardo and Tuchel. Yes, he's got by far the best squad in Liga. Yes, he should be winning it, and they've slipped up on numerous occasions, but they've beaten Barcelona, a very good Barcelona in that second leg. They've beaten Bayern, probably the best side in Europe over the last 18 months. And they've come up against Man City, who have been in imperious form since November and largely limited them to very few opportunities. Like, whenever I watch City this season, there's 5 or 6 opportunities that you're like, that's going to be a goal. And it was the same in the Carabao Cup final on Sunday. Tonight, there wasn't any of that. They, conceded a sort of weirdly worked corner from Kevin De Bruyne, and then a free kick that went through the wall. So it's a bit harsh to say knives out for Pochettino on the basis of that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's very, very harsh. He's got to be given at least another season, surely another season. Right, we'll go for like another 10 minutes because we've got quite good amount of people on the stream at the moment. Welcome. Shout out the 1.5k that are watching us right now. If you've got any questions, slam them in the chat ASAP. Mahreen Hanif says, if you had to pick one player to play a one-off game in the world, who would it be? So for your team,
play against me.
Your team, you can bring one player into Sunderland tomorrow, Dukes, to play a one-off game for your side. Who do you pick?
At the moment, we just need a centre-back with fully working legs, to be honest. I'd probably take Ruben Dias right now at Sunderland, but no one really wants to hear me talk about Sunderland, so we'll quickly move on because the 1.5k definitely aren't here for League One chat.
I'll bore everyone to tears with Celtic chat, mate. Isn't the correct answer to this question just always Messi until he's no longer playing?
It's a good answer.
I agree. It's definitely Messi. By the way, I've just seen a stat on Opta's Twitter. Tonight was the first time Kylian Mbappe completed 90 minutes of a Champions League match without attempting a single shot. I think that's quite an interesting one, to be honest with you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you not have a shot in the first half?
No, didn't have a shot in the entire 90 minutes. Also, Fabrizio has just tweeted now, which is quite an interesting bit of breaking news that we could potentially react to. Dukes, want to get your reaction to this? Tottenham have scheduled a direct sit-down meeting with Erik ten Hag. He's among the candidates to become the new Spurs manager. Ten Hag is open to leaving Ajax this summer.
Exciting. I think when Nagelsmann was off the table, obviously got announced as Bayern Munich manager on Monday, or was it yesterday? I get confused with the days at the moment in lockdown. But anyway, Ten Hag, really exciting appointments, done magnificent work at Ajax. I think their goal difference in the league is 30 better than PSV. They've completely dominated that. He's got a great record of bringing through young players and making more established players better, like Dusan Tadic as well. Obviously, Frankie de Jong, De Ligt, Van der Beek came through there as well. So Spurs fans, I think, can get pretty excited with Erik ten Hag. He's obviously been linked with Barcelona and Bayern Munich in the past, and it's an exciting appointment. Personally, I would have gone for Brendan Rodgers, but I think he ruled himself out. I think that Premier League experience, he's just improved every team he's been at quite considerably, and I think his transfer strategy is really sound as well. But Erik ten Hag, for where Spurs are, it's a little bit of a risk in that he has only tested himself in Holland, but it's an exciting risk at the same time.
Yeah, I think I would prefer Ten Hag to some of the other options I'm hearing muted. Let's put it that way, especially if Sarri's gone to Roma. I think Ten Hag is a pretty decent option if you're Tottenham. At least they're going to see... The one thing I would say is like the polar opposite of Jose, isn't it? It's like going from chalk to cheese. It really is going to be a change up in style, which is going to be an interesting shock to the system for Spurs fans. I'm sure one that they probably would enjoy. However, I agree, it's a risk. It's a risky appointment for a team that are going backwards and who have a squad that I feel like needs a bit of work done to it, defensively in particular. The centre-backs are an issue. The full-backs are an issue. I imagine that Real Madrid won't be recalling Reguilon. I don't think he's been that great first season. But I don't particularly like Matt Doherty playing as a right-back. I think Serge Aurier's an absolute panicker. Toby Alderweireld's probably past his best now. Eric Dyer's not a centre-back for me. Davinson Sanchez needs an awful lot of work. And then, Reguilon I think has been okay. So that whole defence needs a restructuring, which I'm not sure Ten Hag is going to be the ideal man to do that. But it's more exciting than some of the other names being banded around, isn't it, Hamill?
I would Dougie. I do think this is a bit of a risk. Like, he has got a great track record of improving individuals at Ajax. Obviously, Seb Haller has had a career renaissance under him as well. So it's not just young players. He's improved some disenfranchised stars as well. But I mean, Peter Bosz blooded a lot of those youngsters from the academy as well, didn't he? In that, was it 17, 18 Europa League or 18, 19 Europa League run? So I'm not sure how much credit he gets for like a lot of the big hitters. Like Tagliafico, Anana, Mazrui, a lot of appearances under the belt. I'm just thinking like Davy Klaassen as well. Gravenberch, obviously, if he comes, you know what, if Ten Hag comes with Ryan Gravenberch, then I'll take it, because I think he's going to be a serious baller. Anthony's been a good signing as well this summer from Brazil as well, to be fair. So I think it is a risk. I'd have had a more serious conversation around Graham Potter. You guys know my love for him, but you touched upon their defensive frailties there. Like, he's got good defensive personnel at Brighton, but he's also developed a system that limits the quality of opportunity that teams have against his side. And I think Spurs do need a bit of that. Like, they need to make up for their lack of world-class defensive talent with a structure that compensates. And I think, Graham Potter's got a great track record of doing that as well. So if they've gone kind of straight in balls to the wall to Ten Hag, little bit surprising, because again, it's a switch up from the Jose ethos. Like, is it even the same as Pochettino, who's more of a pressing coach? Ten Hag's more of a like press and possess coach as well. But I can understand why Spurs fans aren't ecstatic, but equally, like, this is a guy who's supposed to be the heir to the throne at Barcelona. So, I suppose his pedigree is as good as anyone's out there now. But
I think it's really interesting, the fact that Brendan Rodgers has just come out and said, no, not for me. Like, I think that's a big statement for both Tottenham and for Leicester. I think it proves how good of a position Leicester are in, and how well he's managing that squad, and how good the setup is behind the scenes. And I also think it proves how poor of a position Tottenham are in, particularly off the pitch, that Brendan Rodgers is just totally willing to dismiss that role. Because I think a few years ago, Leicester to Tottenham would have been a huge step up, but it almost feels like a downgrade / move sideways. Dukes, I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I think he'll have bigger ambitions now. It looks like Leicester are going to finish in the top 4. If they finish in this year as well, with the right recruitment, that definitely looks possible. Although you expect Chelsea to be more confirmed in that top 4 next year. You expect Liverpool to obviously improve as well. But I feel like Brendan Rodgers, if he gets Leicester into the top 4 next year as well, he's going to be in the hat, and rightly so, for every top job in world football, in my eyes. I feel like, say, if Thomas Tuchel last 2-3 years at Chelsea, I could see Brendan Rodgers stepping in at Chelsea quite easily. Not suggesting Tuchel's going to leave, but everyone knows the shelf life at Chelsea. They tend to sack as soon as things, remotely hit the strap. So, I think Brendan Rodgers has just seen where Leicester are, where Spurs are, and it's always difficult coming in after Mourinho, because he does leave a very unhappy squad in lots of cases. Some of the players will obviously be unhappy to see him go. I know he got on very well with Harry Kane, Sergio Reguilon, etc. But, players like Dele Alli, players like Harry Winks, like, their confidence is absolutely nowhere right now.
Yeah, Harry Winks particularly against Man City on the weekend. I thought it was an appalling decision to start Harry Winks in that game, to be honest with you, from Ryan Mason. I really didn't understand starting him over Ndombele at all. And I think it proved out that it just didn't work whatsoever. We've got a few in here about Ten Hag. Shoops says, is it not a slight concern that Ten Hag has been looked at by all these major clubs, but ultimately they've all turned their nose up at him, Hamill?
I think the timing's not been great for him, has it? I think maybe the biggest bugbear for him will be the way that Ronald Koeman sort of took the Barcelona job, not out of nowhere, but he hadn't really excelled at club level for a long time, right? It's a difficult question to address, because now we're getting onto like the prerogatives of boardroom members and execs everywhere. And I suppose like a lot of big teams might have just thought he was an ill fit for the talent that they had at their disposal. Because when you pick a manager, you're not just picking a manager based on his ability or how good you think he's going to be. He's got to be a good fit for the squad as well, right? Which is why maybe he's okay for Tottenham, because they don't have a really strong philosophy, ethos, whatever we want to call it, like instilled into them right now. It was quite pragmatic under Jose, wasn't it? It was quite defensive. There wasn't a lot of in-game tactical flexibility, I guess. So maybe they are just looking for someone to come in and lay the foundations to play a progressive brand of football. And if that's what your checklist is, then Ten Hag, like, great. And they have got a squad that is young enough to be molded to a new style, like, relatively quickly, haven't they? Like, they have got don't get it twisted. Like, he's been putting the wool over people's eyes all year. They have like the fourth or fifth best squad in the Premier League, possibly the fourth. So like someone should be able to come in and do bits with it like quickly, or at least yeah, like I said, bend and flex it to their will. I don't know if that answers your question. Like some of my answers have been a bit woolly, but it's just a bit of a weird one. But maybe it'll age better with time.
All right, let's chat a little bit about the Europa League then, because as much as we do jest and joke about that competition, that is quite big. There are a couple of quite big games tomorrow, particularly for Arsenal, I think, who are desperately in need of pulling big results out in that competition now. They can't finish 11th and not win the Europa League. I can't remember a season like that in my lifetime for Arsenal, to be honest with you, if they don't win this Europa League. Dougs, tomorrow against Villarreal. Do you think Unai Emery comes back to bite them a bit?
I mean, maybe. I mean, Villarreal have been surprisingly good this year. I think they're still very much in the hunt for fifth spot there. It's very tight with them, Real Betis, and one other side that escapes me for the moment. But they've got some players in great form. I mean, Gerard Moreno's been absolutely phenomenal. I think he's hit close to 20 league goals there. Samuel Chukwueze, he's the one to watch probably. And if you're looking for someone to get you off the edge of your seat, he is crazy fast, and I can see some of Arsenal's fullbacks having some difficulties against him. To be honest, I take your point about Arsenal and winning the Europa League, how good it'd be for them, but they've won trophies in recent years, the FA Cup, and they're just regressing. I don't think there is a side in Europe that have underperformed more considering their talent. They are not a consistent side, and they've got too many of their old players are the players they look to rely on when the going gets tough. Your David Luiz's, your Granit Xhakas, but they've got too many errors in their game. And you're asking far too much of your Sakas and your Smith Rowes, who do look promising. I think Arsenal, to be honest, have been a bit of a mess this year, and I don't think it's solved by winning the Europa League, because even what are they going to do in the Champions League next year? They need major surgery. They're at war between their clubs and their fans and their owner. They need massive money injected into that club. And they've already spent so much over the last 2-3 years. So, yeah, I don't think it ends a lot of their woes, to be honest.
Yeah. I think, though, without Europa League success this season, I think the fans might start to turn a little bit more against Arteta. I think he's, in the large part, got the backing of the fans. And I've openly questioned that on quite a few shows throughout this season, just because their domestic form has been so bad, so
yeah,
awful.
You've been a bit more critical of him than I have. I actually still back him, but he is running out of time a little bit.
But he's obviously got issues within that squad, but some of the football they play at times is so up and down. One week they actually pop the ball around lovely, and then the next they're just unwatchably awful.
What makes it more confusing as well, though, like recent weeks aside, is that they're actually improving since the turn of the year. Like they've been much better since January onwards. So their trajectory is so up and down, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Having Kieran Tierney back tomorrow is a huge dub for them. That's going to be that's a big moment for them this season, because Kieran Tierney's just so key for how they want to play, but he's so injury prone. And then obviously the other Europa League time, Man United versus Roma. I've been trying to avoid talking about it because I'm not overly positive. But United have to get over the hoodoo of the semi-finals, man. I think this is Ollie's fifth or fourth or fifth since he arrived at the club, and it's got to change. Can't keep getting to semi-finals and falling. And United have not been playing well recently. I think we've lost one in our last 28 in the league. Pretty impressive on the road. Obviously haven't lost away from home all season, but nevertheless don't look great. Like when you actually watch the United 90 minutes, it's like, goodness gracious, this is a tough watch. And I haven't watched an awful lot of Roma, but all you've got to do if you're Roma is don't give us space to run into. If Rashford can isolate a player, it is game over. Like, he will beat that player. If Bruno starts to pick up little pockets on the break, it's game over. So if Roma can be compact, let us have the ball. We'll make our own difficulties because the back line has huge issues. How do you guys see Roma versus Man United playing out? Because I haven't watched an awful lot of Roma this season.
I think it will be Roma's main issue has been their defence. They've had a lot of defensive issues. They've had to play Brian Cristante, who's naturally a midfielder in defence in recent weeks there. I don't know whether they've got Ibanez back as well, their centre-back, who's had a quite promising year as well. They're just such a strangely imbalanced squad. Like, they've got a lot of lone players like Borja Mayoral that have shone, but then a lot of their best players, their Pedros, their Dzekos, the Mkhitaryan's, are all the wrong side of 30. And then you've got Lorenzo Pellegrini, who's fairly creative in midfield as well. But I was saying in the stream, whenever push has come to shove this year for Roma, they've been appalling in the big games, like really, really bad. So this is kind of do or die for Fonseca. He looks like he's going to be replaced. I think Joe said it's already been announced with Sarri, so he'll want to go out.
Not
with
quite
a trophy
yet, but I think
name.
it's on the verge of being announced, effectively.
So I expect Man United to win, but maybe not comfortably over 2 legs.
I mean, Mkhitaryan had such an unbelievable start to the campaign, didn't he? I think he's had a fairly poor second half in comparison. I'm just thinking, like, who's going to cause you guys real, like, threat up top? And Mayoral's pretty much come from nowhere, hasn't it? I didn't even realise he was on loan there, to be brutally honest. Or is he signed for them on a permanent? Like, he's on loan, yeah. Like, he's their top goal scorer is Jordan Fatu. He takes penalties. I assume that plays a big part. Again, not professing to watch them at all, but Mkhitaryan's still their second top goal scorer despite having such a poor second half to the season. So, like, if unless, you know, Mayoral is unplayable on the night, I think Manchester United are going to be like, you're a decent defensive side. I think you're going to be pretty secure at the back. I can see this being quite comfortable for you.
All right, well, we'll see how that one plays out, but I think we're probably going to wrap it up there. Thank you to everybody that has come along and watched tonight's episode of the Football Social. Manchester City coming out 2-1 winners against PSG. Goals from Kevin De Bruyne and Riyad Mahrez. Both slightly fortunate, but nevertheless, both very important. Yeah, Dougs, thanks very much for joining me. Anything you want to plug before we wrap this up?
What could I plug? Go and check out UCL review from this morning, where me and McCubbs rounded up Chelsea versus Real Madrid and questioned whether Zidane got his tactics wrong.
Definitely did. 3 at the back with Hamill. Anything you want to plug?
No, just double down on what Dougie said.
All right then. Thanks very much, everybody. We'll see you later. Bye.